statements and jokes are counterproductive and work against his goals. So we're going to talk about it today. Is this humor a good way to expose Republican hypocrisy and raise awareness of issues? Or is it undermining the work of opposing Trump? How dark woke, quote unquote, should we go? Does when they go low, we go lower help
Dark
us
woke.
or hurt us? And we've got quite the cast to talk about it, including the man himself. We're just going to go around, quick opening thoughts, and then we'll get into the meat of it. We're going to start
Mr.
with Captain
Bonnell.
Ross. Go ahead.
Yeah, so in my opinion, it's not about dark, edgy jokes in particular. Obviously, we all like a good fucked up joke every now and then. That's not the problem. The problem is what is gained and what is lost. Also, the hybridization of alt media and mainstream media. That's the real question here. Just as an example, I did get it confirmed that roughly billions of dollars were spent on advertising in the 2024 election, and roughly $100 million got spent on newspaper ads by the Democratic Party in 2024. Democrats are scared of alternative media. The reason why they're scared of alternative media is because we have people like Vosh jerking off to kitty horse porn. We have people like Hassan, hanging out with terrorists. And we got Destiny talking about dead kids in Texas and how they deserve to die because they were jerking off to, porn with using a VPN. So this is the kind of shit that is going to push normies away. It's going to push the mainstream away. It's going to push those dollars away. And so as a result, it's not whether or not you can make fucked up jokes. I don't give a shit about that. What I give a shit about is we got real work to do.
Okay. Destiny. Answer for your crimes.
I don't really think there's much of a downside unless you let there be a downside. I think that conservatives are allowed to have humor. I thought comedy was legal again. And I think that the big issue with Democrats being scared of alternative media is that they're scared of like any environment that they don't have like optimal control over. And I think they dramatically overestimate how much the public gives a fuck about edgy jokes. I think it has less to do with edgy jokes and more to do with who has the power in the situation. And so if you have the power, it's unironically like what conservatives used to say, find out who you can't make fun of, and then you'll find out who controls you. And for a lot of things, conservatives can just make the most insane jokes ever and be fine. And Democrats have to be like tiptoeing around every single topic. I think it's funny to make jokes, and we should keep making jokes. Fuck them.
Okay, we're going to talk about it, I'm sure. Not so erudite. Kyla, please.
Yeah, so I wanted to have this conversation because I care about real political outcomes. I think if we claim to be evidence-based, left-leaning commentators who want to fight misinfo and push for positive change, we need to be honest about what works. So it's fine for advocacy to reflect our personalities, but if we just do something because it feels good, it's probably important that we don't confuse that with what's effective. And what I would argue for is we don't have to be maximally effective at all times, right? I would never advocate for that necessarily. But the evidence typically shows, whether it's psychological theory or basic behavioral science, that shame and being super nasty typically is a bad motivator for change, particularly for people who view you as the outgroup. And so in my mind, if the goal is to move people and actually shifts hearts and minds, we need to make sure that we're being mindful of like how we're coming across, right? If we want to claim moral superiority, well, then we can't be doing things that make us look morally more questionable. If we think that scorching or going scorched earth and dunking leads to progress, we should probably stop kidding ourselves. It probably doesn't. And I think one of the things that I think is Stephen's strength specifically is his ability to kind of be that token liberal in conservative spaces. I think he's been effective at being like that one liberal where they go, this guy's pretty reasonable, which essentially introduces a fundamental binary paradigm shift for a lot of people listening. And I think that that's really important to do. And my suspicion is that this type of joke, while I don't really care about edgy jokes in and of themselves, my suspicion is that essentially this joke was more offensive than it was funny, and you lost a whole bunch of social capital with people that I think you could be more effective if you maintain that social capital with.
What's up, Graham?
I have a feeling that my criticisms of Soy Pill and Stephen will be somewhat different. So right now I'm angling them more at Stephen, but I'm sure as we talk, there'll be stuff that is more directed at Soy Pill. So yeah.
Oh, we'll get to Soy Pill in a second. Soy Pill, speaking of the devil, go ahead.
So I thought Destiny's joke was pretty funny, but somehow the right wing was able to capitalize this and shift the conversation from horrible policy by Ted Cruz and the right wing got a bunch of people killed to, oh, some guy was mean. So we're letting the right wing drive this outrage machine. They don't fucking care. Marjorie Taylor Greene can call us all pedophiles. She doesn't get repercussions. The only reason we're allowed to do it now is because they're blocking the Epstein file release. But vibes do matter, and look at the vibe conversation. Like, Kamala didn't lose because she was too mean. She lost because she didn't go on these podcasts where she could be more authentic. Joe Rogan, Theo Von, Nelk Boys, and they tell Holocaust jokes, rape jokes, like all sorts of wild shit. Like, it's this idea that, oh, well, you're not authentic enough, but also you have to be prim and proper and perfect, because if you don't, like, you're not cool. I'm not arguing for there to be no policing. We can call it illegal things like calls to violence, sex crimes, but why waste our time complaining about optics to some arbitrary amount of voters who care about optics over policy? I'm willing to change my mind. I don't know, Kyla, you might have this. If you can show me some data that says, oh, voters left the Democrats because of crass
No, show me
humor
the
and
data.
meanness, but I've heard far more people say they leave
Show me the data.
the left because they're policing too much and telling white men to sit down and be quiet. So I say, let the white boys have their summer. Stop wasting energy clutching your pearls at fucking nothing. Save it for educating people on policy that actually matters. We tried to go high. When they go low, we lost 2 elections doing it. They're going to find outrage regardless. It's a waste of time.
Okay, and with that, let's open the floor. Go ahead, gang.
Yeah, so
Sure.
actually let's go ahead and you tell me, number one, which part is funny. I'll tell you which part is funny to me. And then also tell me where we're talking about Ted Cruz's policy, because that's part of your rebuttal, is that there's this 3,000 IQ appeal to hypocrisy understanding baked into the tweet. So let's see if we can find that through some literary analysis. So I heard God killed those kids. Okay. Because
do you
they
want
were
me to tell you
using
why I think it's funny?
NordVPN. I'm not done yet. Oh, you think that's funny?
No, do you want me to tell you why I think the joke is funny?
In a second. So they
we
were
already
using
heard the tweet. You
NordVPN
don't have to read
promo
it all
code
still.
Destiny. Hold on, real quick.
Let him go. Let him
I
go,
just-
please.
I just want to explain the promo code. As much
Mm-hmm.
as I hated this fucking joke and it pissed me off, promo code VPN was fucking hysterical. Like,
Yeah,
objectively,
that's the part I thought was funny.
that's the funniest part of the fucking joke, right?
Okay.
All right. Now, to get around the Texas porn ban, gross. The girls who got killed were 8 years old to 13 years old. Okay. Now, where is the appeal to hypocrisy amongst conservatives, and where's the explanation of like Republicans canceling funding for ARP for doing the siren in this area?
Well, so you're attacking 2 different arguments in the same breath. Well, one of them, you're saying that somehow edgy jokes must also be calling out hypocrisy. I don't think that's necessary. I just
No,
think
that's
being,
the
being
stealing of the
authentic.
position that DGG is doing 100%.
Well, I'm not DGG. If you want to talk to DGG, talk to them. I'm
DGG.
talking
Well, you just did
to
it.
the
The
Well,
Taliban.
no, I'm saying that edgy jokes are fine, and we should also be calling out hypocrisy from the Republicans. You don't need to do these things in the same breath. But second of all, if anything, if I'm not mistaken, did Destiny not go on Piers Morgan and then defend attack the hypocrisy to like a whole crowd of millions of people? Like, that is a conversation starter, as much as you might not like it.
So Stephen, that's an important question. Did you think that you were going to become is this an avant-garde marketing strategy? Did you think you were going to get an invite from Piers Morgan? You're like, I'm going to tweet out about dead kids jerking off to porn, and this is 100% going to result in people inviting me onto their shows?
Possibly. I would just like to clarify one part of the joke, though. You said that it was gross that they were underage and it was a porn joke. Well, that was why God was punishing them. If they were adults that were using NordVPN to watch porn, then God wouldn't punish them. So it wouldn't make any sense, would it?
No,
Connor?
God would
Okay.
still punish them.
Number
Can
one.
I just, can I,
Number
can I-
two, wait, real quick,
Okay,
to
yeah.
answer the question, because did I know I could invite it? I don't know, maybe not. Generally at this point, when it comes to edgy humor conservatives, I don't necessarily make these jokes with like this some huge grand master plan in mind. I just think liberals need to be way less fucking soy about making fun of conservatives for retarded shit. They've like moved the window of acceptable behavior so unbelievably far in one direction that at this point I refuse to be policed by actual subhuman degenerate filth about what we can or can't joke about when they make the most unhinged degenerate jokes ever. And I have seen absolutely zero evidence whatsoever that this go low, go high, whatever bullshit has ever worked ever for liberals. It seems like all of the most popular moments have usually been when they're kind of roasting the other side a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. And it feels like liberals are the ones that have
hold on.
the
Is that
most
why
negative
Beto
reactions there.
O'Rourke
So
won? Is that why Beto O'Rourke won in Texas? Was because he was being so hardcore when he said that I'm going to take away your AR-15s? Was he giga chatting in that moment? Was that a popular take that he had?
I don't know, but the most popular take I remember Beto O'Rourke having about weapons was when he said something about like "fuck your AR-15s." There was a big deal.
Yeah,
he
that's
cussed
exactly what
about
I'm
it.
talking about. So obviously you can be giga chat about good things, and you can be giga chat about bad things, and you can get punished for being giga chat about bad things and rewarded for being giga chat about good things, right? This stands to reason.
I guess. I don't know. That wasn't really a joke he was making, though. He was just saying a swear word, no?
Yeah, but you made correct me if I'm wrong, but you made the argument that the time that Democrats have most succeeded is when they haven't been soy, when they haven't been milquetoast, and they've stand on business. Well, I feel like
Well, I'm
Beto
just saying
O'Rourke
I don't
stood
know
on
if they've
business
ever
in that
gotten
moment.
credit. I don't think they've ever gotten credit ever for being like kind and nice to conservative stuff. I just don't know.
I
where
don't
this
think
is
we're
happening
asking you
at.
to be kind or nice. I think you could have been
No,
incredibly
not about me.
abrasive.
I'm just saying.
You
I'm
made
just
the
saying
same
that.
point.
I'm just saying that in general, in general on the Democrat side, this like call to being kind and compassionate and empathetic and understanding. I just don't know if like Democrats have ever gotten credit ever on that.
I wanted to give.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody calls you pussies.
Yeah, I
yes.
want to give Kyla a chance to get in. She was trying to get in earlier. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I just want to make sure to reframe this because even Soy Pill's opening made it seem like this is about edgy jokes, which is understandable because I think for Wick it's about edgy jokes. I'm not totally sure. I just want to be very clear. I don't give a fuck about edgy jokes. I don't give a single rip. You make as many edgy jokes as you want to. I don't give a fuck about any of this shit. What I care about here fundamentally is our predisposition and how we are willing to talk to the opposing side. And I think that that is something that is decaying, not just amongst leftists, which had never existed, but I'm seeing it decay within liberals. And I think that that is harmful to our cause, right? So in the case of
I was listening to it a little bit earlier. Her and leftists do not get along. It's that lib-left dynamic.
like Steven's edgy joke. Okay, well, yeah, unfortunately, it was way more offensive than it was funny. It was a little fancy, it was a lot offensive, and it was made more offensive by the timing. So it flopped to even the point that the left didn't like it, right? But again, I don't really care. I'm not interested in just policing people's edgy joke. What I'm interested in is thinking about how we talk to and engage with one another. For example, Soy Pill, the way that you talk to Tally on that panel, I think is part of the problem. I don't think that this is how you are ontologically all the time, but I think this idea where we talk to people of opposite ideas, we go as aggressive as possible, and we try to tear down not just like who they are, but their humanity. I mean, some of the statements that I quoted from you saying, I think were like pretty shitty, right? It's not just about you're being a little bit mean. It's this entire orientation which says if we want democracy to work, we have to be able to talk to the other side. And while I'll be the first to say that I think the right is full of crazy people and assholes, they're crazy people and assholes that we have to be able to talk to and convince to our side. And I'm not seeing that like the smug nastiness or scorched earth policy that I would criticize Stephen of with, say, like maybe a Tectone or an Asmongold is going to be effective for polling particularly moderates and undecided towards our position.
Yeah, hold
Wait,
on.
real quick, just as a real quick thing on that. Isn't that exactly what Trump did with the entire tech bro movement, though? Like, didn't he pull in a bunch of people, like record high Hispanic voters, record high tech bro people, Elon Musk, like with the most divisive and vitriolic and toxic rhetoric ever? Didn't he pull in a ton
Yeah,
of
sure,
women?
but people are stupid.
But are we assuming,
Hold on. I want to back up the narrative.
Let Kyla finish, please. Let Kyla finish.
The issue is you would have to submit to me evidence that it was him being a fucking asshole versus Kamala, A, getting switched last minute so they didn't even know who they were voting for, and B, on top of that, her entire mantra was essentially, let's keep things the same when people desperately wanted change. So maybe
the point,
it was
Kyla, the
being
point isn't
based-
that it's attracting voters necessarily. It's the point is that it's clearly not alienating all these moderates, that they're still voting for him in these record high numbers. Like, this isn't some
hold on.
poison that's going to destroy the Democratic Party and their chances of winning.
Yeah, but Tally is the person that's winnable. I watched the Tally Bots Lib and
Tally-
Learn Bully session.
Tally
and
is
so,
stupid, and I don't
Okay,
care
that doesn't
if
matter.
being
By the way-
nice to her is going to
Okay,
win her over. We should be
Soy
educating
Pill-
her on policy. That's a
Soy
completely
Pill-
different conversation.
Soy Pill, regardless of whether or not you question Tally's individual intelligence,
Soy Pill.
democracy is about appealing to
I mean, this guy is ultra soy, but I will say that's a pretty fucking banger name. Just he's owning it, owning the soy,
stupid people.
and he's actually been on a run. He was on Timcast with who was it? I forget who. There was somebody else on there. They were debating like masculinity and all kinds of things like that. But he was on Tim Pool. He's been making the rounds on some. He was actually. I think he's done debates with or some panels with Hutch and Josiah and all these IRI type people. Treasure of interesting, mainly anarchist-centered content on a podcast called Immediatism. You should check out sometime. It's on Spotify. Immediatism. Let's see. Yeah, see it here. Cool. I mean, a lot of these topics seem like super fucking gigabrained, bro. Anarchy. Cool. Yeah, I got it saved here in my Spotify. I'll check it out. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right, and there's
I
a
don't
big
know if you knew
difference.
that.
Hold on,
So
Connor,
hold on,
just to be
hold on.
clear,
No, I'm not
because
done-
you don't know,
I'm
because
not
you
done
don't know
yet.
my,
I'm not
because you
done
don't know my
yet.
position.
Hey, hey,
I'm not done
let
yet. I'm not done yet.
let counterpoints finish his point,
Yeah,
then you can
Let
respond.
him
I
straw
promise.
man me for 5 minutes, and then I can give my real position.
No. I'll take about 1 minute. And on top of that, I'll be very precise with my language, which doesn't have anything about your character involved in it, okay? What's funny is Tally is in a red state, but she's a blue person. She did not think that her vote really mattered, and what she wanted was to do a protest vote, effectively saying the Democrats are not catering to me as a part of the base, and I am your natural supporter. And your guys' reaction to that so far hasn't been, damn, we lost kind of like a progressive, liberal, Jewish girl. What are we doing that's so off-putting? Your entire perspective has been struggle sessioning her and calling her a fucking idiot. Which, by the way,
Well,
other
hold on.
moderates are going to
Oh, man, I
see, and
called
they're
her a
going to be like, well,
retard, to
fuck
be
you
clear.
too.
I called her a retard, for to be clear. And second of all, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be
Cool.
advocating for educating people on what policy affects them and how
And
they should
just
be
be
voting
clear, Tolly's
differently.
That's going to be something I have to implement for the Discord. Because I'm personally anti-slur. I don't like using slurs. I think they're ineffective. I can appreciate them in a joke, but I would never use them. I can appreciate some in a joke. There's probably some that I can't appreciate. It would have to be a really, really, really good joke for a harder slur for me to actually find funny, honestly. But I thought about it today because I was listening to this a little bit, and I was thinking to myself, like, well, what is my threshold for slurs essentially? Because I know there's a handful of certain slurs that I know I'm just like, nah, I'm not cool with that. But if somebody said retard or something like that, I wouldn't even think twice about it. I would just be like, whatever. It wouldn't even register with me that somebody said it. We use it so often. It's so commonly used that it just doesn't even register with me. So I think that I think that's what I'm going to need to explore. Specifically, I guess, for the Discord. Not that there's immense chat going on in there, but if it's going to exist, it needs to have rules, and the only rule can't just be no minors, because that's the only rule I have right now. But I think what I'm trying to say is that I'm going to explore something called the retard threshold, which is essentially my threshold for slurs, and whether certain words meet that threshold or not. Because retard for me is something that's like, I don't say it, I don't ever say it. I had an uncle who was retarded, But that's not the reason why I don't use that word. It's just not part of my daily vocabulary. Yeah. So, but I also I wouldn't care if somebody said it. If somebody said, "Oh, that's retarded," I wouldn't be like, "Whoa, hold on, hold your horses there, buddy." No. But there's obviously words that are past that are like, yeah, those are definitely no-goes. So I think that's going to be my threshold. But what I need to do is explore which words exist on which side. Your N's, your F's, that stuff's definitely clearly to the right to the right. It's past the threshold. It's past the threshold. But then there's probably words where I'm like, that's okay. Like Oriental. Right? If somebody said Oriental, I wouldn't be like, no. Like if somebody said, hey, check out that Oriental over there, I wouldn't be like, man, that's definitely as hardcore as dropping a hard R. That's definitely like a hard R N-bomb. No, I wouldn't. So, I have to bounce that off at the threshold and see where it lands. So we'll see. I don't know.
in a
But
in a blue
clearly,
state.
But clearly, if this person is so adverse to learning about the consequences of policy that whoever was mean to her last, or whatever kind of perception she has of which party is nicer or less adverse, like that's what she votes on. Why would I waste time
Hey,
on this person
so
who's
hold on,
let
no,
me
no, no.
finish. I let you finish your stupid
Uh-huh.
thing. No, so when she is on a platform and the topic is, hey Tolly, what do Democrats need to do? That's when I'm going to come at you. Like my channel is about reaching out to Trump supporters, which is a very different thing. I understand the point of compassion, the point of letting them speak, and understanding why they voted so we can change them. But when these pundits are out here saying the dumbest shit ever, displaying their lack of intelligence, I'm going to come up and I'm going to be mean to them, because that's my authentic feeling, is that they're fucking retarded. They need to shut the fuck up. That's a very different conversation than trying to convince a swath of people to come over. And these things can be done in parallel.
Okay, so I want to acknowledge what Wick said, which is effectively that she was in an overwhelming blue state,
Yeah.
so she didn't think that her vote was going to matter. So it was the opposite of what I said, but the point still stands. Oh, all right, so here's my fucking frustration with this, okay? So I get exactly what you said, and on top of that, plurality of tactics, all right? So if Steven wants to be fucking edgy, you want to have debates, and then you want to be nice to some people but mean to some people, I totally understand a plurality of tactics, okay? But what I'm saying is there's something so fundamentally obvious that should be acknowledged by every single fucking Democrat and isn't, which is effectively on October 7th, 2023, you had tons of progressives, not just leftists, saying prison, so what was Hamas supposed to do? While there's people getting raped and murdered on Twitter, and then a bunch of Jews go, oh shit, my progressive coalition, my multi-ethnic, multi-religious coalition actually views me as subhuman and laughs when fucking my people get murdered. What the fuck?
Yeah,
and they got so
Well, I
turned
think
off,
so.
they
Real quick, I
moved
think
away
that
from the Democrats.
the issue here isn't about edgy jokes. The issue is that legitimately a lot of people on the left supported Hamas terrorist attacking Israel. I think that was the issue.
Well, no shit. That's why I brought it up in my intro.
Yeah,
Well,
but
yeah,
that's in
but
my
this
intro, I
isn't
said
an
no
issue.
calls to violence, dude.
Well,
That's
well,
like
let
kind
this-
of outside the scope.
This isn't an issue of like edgy humor. This is an
Jeff said he wants Bonnie to ask Judge to release all the grand jury files in the Epstein case. I thought about that today because obviously this is causing like a lot of I gotta do two things at once. So let me try to work and talk. Okay. I keep getting sidetracked. It's my own fault, but I thought about that today, and I was like, all right, well, obviously this is causing, a lot of division, particularly amongst conservatives. And I thought to myself, what could be the reasons why, right? One reason could be Trump's in the files. Another reason is, the files could be like exposed so much that it would fucking tank the economy, cause world chaos, start World War III. Who knows what's on that list? But then I thought to myself, okay, well, if somebody asked me, what are the highest priorities for the president of the United States and for us as a nation, like what would we like to see handled the most, right? And if I had to ask myself that, I'd be like, Israel-Palestine number one, Russia-Ukraine number two, and then anything that's not those two would be number 3, number 4, number 5. So the bright-eyed, optimistic legate is thinking, if we could focus on those other things and then possibly come back to the Epstein files because of how much chaos it would create, it would, if we were to just release the Epstein files right now, who knows what kind of fucking chaos that would unleash on the world. This is not just an American thing. How does that work? What do you mean? How does what work? But yeah, in terms of priorities, Epstein is not top 2 because we have plenty of time for that. All you got to do is say click. Okay, there you go. There's the files. And there's like, you got Bondi, you got Patel, you got Bongino, you got the president, you have all the president's staff. And everybody is, for the most part, in lockstep with squashing this, at least essentially for now, if not possibly permanently. but there has to be an effective reason for it. Either Trump's in it, like, you know, the not wide-eyed, pessimistic legate is Trump's in it and he's trying to cover it up. All right, there's one. The other one is the implications of that list is too wide-reaching, and it would throw into chaos everything that we're trying to do right now in terms of ceasefires, global conflicts, terrorist economic impacts, all that shit, man. And just dropping the Epstein list in the middle of all the other shit we got going on right now just might be a little too much. So it's one or the other. It's either a cover-up or it's just too much for the world to handle right now. It has to be one. That has to be one. One of those two reasons has to be it. What's up, Edge? I agree. The judge must approve the file's release. Oh, the lawsuit to release them. Okay. Well, look, I mean, yeah, you're talking about like, well, the procedurality of, you know, actually releasing it. I'm just talking about the political and cultural impacts of doing it, right? There's either work and talk. It's either Trump's covering it up and everybody in his administration is trying to help him, or releasing it right now would be detrimental to everything else that we're trying to accomplish. And it would throw a monkey wrench into way too many important things. And, you know, even if it means lying to Americans by telling them that they're going to just kill the whole list and say it never existed or whatever, you know, I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with that. Yeah, if they figure out Israel Palestine, if they got Russia Ukraine in line, if they got China in line, if they got the economy in line, like a lot of things were in a much better place, then they come back and say, look, we lied. Okay, here's the list. We just couldn't do it during that time because we had way too much going on. I'd be fine with that. I'd be cool with that. I wouldn't be like, oh, you lied to us. I'd be like, yeah, that's understandable. That's understandable. we've had what? Russia's been going on for what, 3-4 years now? What, 3 years, I think? Was it was it March 2022? I forget when the actual invasion happened, but obviously October 7th. So that's a couple years. We got things going on for years now that we're trying to solve, and then just to throw the Epstein list in the middle of all of it would be fucking ridiculous. So that's the optimistic side of me. The pessimistic side of me is Trump's on the list. He's covering up, and he somehow got his entire administration to back him on it and keep their mouth shut, which would be that's a fucking that's a lot. So I don't know. What's up, man? See the right-wing panel tonight on how fast it devolved when Epstein got brought up. Is this, are you talking about the WIC panel, or which panel are you talking about? Effectiveness of generating outrage over the behavior was overdone. Now the controlled release is threatened. They are backpedaling. Yeah. The effectiveness of generating outrage over the behavior was overdone. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Could be. You could be right, Edge. Right. But if something, you know, ultimately, you know, whatever the reason is, and whatever, you know, whyever it's possibly happening. If somebody asked me, would you rather see the Epstein files or have fucking Israel Palestine, you know, have a successful ceasefire and rebuild and talks and you know, any path towards something, which is better than what we have now? I'd be like, yeah, give me the Israel Palestine, and give me that sweet Israel Palestine. Gibbs, Rob Norwood, 1, Sadie, Tyler, average debate enjoyer, Fabian Lurie. Oh wow, that's a cast right there. No, I didn't. No. That's definitely a cast. I'll probably check it out. I want to check out some of this edgy joke talk that Mr. Bonnell II here, your buddy, your old pal, and Connor and Soypill and everybody's talking about. It got unhinged. Yeah, we could probably check it out. That's quite a cast. That is quite the cast. You should have called in. You should have called in. That would have been perfect. Birthday message. Wall Street Journal published. Reaction to it proves Trump lied again because he draw one on that card and said he never draws, but he lied. Once true, he included a copy of that picture in his book, so I read it as a teen. I've never even heard of that. That's crazy. Let's talk with Tyler Sadie in grid 1 before the panel. Okay, gotcha. I might check it out. I want to hear what I want to hear how Mr. Bonnell here defends himself against these edgy joke allegations. See what he's got to say. Actually, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
I don't expect you to be perfect in your advocacy, but if all you
Not just that, but in 2016, into
nice.
Did it work?
yeah, when 4 out of 5 people are bullying the fuck out of you and one person is nice, why would you be like, oh yeah, it turns out actually everybody in this tribe is great. So I felt, fuck this, I've been waiting for 10 goddamn minutes to listen to you fucking rant. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. I'm talking. I don't want to hear.
My whole point is there are other
Soy
people
pill.
like
no,
Ellie.
Erudite, still talking. White man, sit down, listen. Jesus Christ. So, anyways, the whole fucking point of this is that you were like, oh, Democrats were so nice over the past fucking 10 years. Where the fuck was that? What the fuck are you talking about? The whole goddamn reaction of the right wing has been to snide, smug, far left dickbags running fucking media for a decade, running social media for a fucking decade. That's why Elon bought Twitter. Not just that, but in 2016, I wasn't going to vote for Trump, but I wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton either because jihadist terrorist attacks were happening every other goddamn month, and the Democrats were talking about bringing in 250,000 new fucking refugees. Not
Connor,
just that, but in 2020, no, I'm not done yet. Thank you. I listened to you for 5 minutes. You can listen to me for fucking. So the other thing is, in fucking 2020, we had the goddamn Summer of Love, where basically, like, not only did we have the COVID lockdown bullshit, but we also had BLM going on and people saying fiery but mostly peaceful protests.
Yeah, he is. Nazi points. That's interesting. I've never heard. Do you particularly not like Connor, or what's the deal there? Onion. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Kind of strict as weak sauce. Yeah, he's got the soy rage face going right now.
Do you know how oftentimes I see that bullshit where Democrats, regardless of all the fucked up shit of Trump, again, I can list all the fucked up parts of Trump better than you can. Summer of Love, Chaz Chop, sweeping for jihadists, sweeping for BLM is still brought up, and that's not good behavior.
Yeah, none of that is anything we're talking about regarding mean comments. If you want to talk
yes,
smug
it is.
pearl
You said that
clutching,
you were on your best behavior for a decade and it didn't work. Don't gaslight me in real time, you
why is saying fiery but mostly
you were on your
peaceful
best
is
behavior
mean?
for 10 years and everything I listed was your best behavior?
Calm down.
No, I won't.
Okay.
Don't tell me that you're fucking lying to me. Don't lie to me.
Okay, fiery but mostly peaceful, that's Democrats being mean?
It's Democrats sweeping for the BLM riots of 2020. It's bad
Just to be
behavior.
clear, in the entirety of all we have the fiery but mostly peaceful from the one CNN Chiron or whatever, the Chiron, that one thing compared to
let Destiny go, please.
But hold on, just to be clear, we're comparing that to the entire subhuman conservative apparatus claiming that Haitians in the United States were eating cats and dogs, and that message got repeated by the president of the United States of America on a debate, and then it was repeated by the vice president, J.D. Vance, and he said, I knew it was a fucking lie, but it gets people talking. And now you want to hold us to some standard of, well, remember when that one CNN during the BLM riots had the thing in the background? It's like, fuck that bullshit. Make fun of dead kids and fuck all of it.
See his meltdown on Primes where he admitted he's a white nationalist, then his meltdown on Gibbs where he told them he wasn't white because one of his parents was an illegal immigrant. No. I did not think he... This is a guy that teamed up with fucking Progressive Victory. What do you mean he's a white nationalist? There's no way he's a white nationalist. He was with Progressive Victory. How the fuck did they not vet for something like that? That to me, that sounds crazy. Was he memeing or something, or... If I watch the Mondami music videos, no. Do I need to get the clips? We'll drop the clips in the links for Legate channel. We'll check them out in a little bit. I gotta have a work-life balance here, so I can't be jumping from clip to clip. But it's crazy to me to think that somebody like Connor could go around, claiming white nationalism and then also be with Progressive Victory. He was like very present with them during the election. It's fucking crazy. I'm a nationalist. So yeah, that sounds right. I'm fine with that. I think I'm right there with you, Mida. Counter-Strike just wants money, does not care where it comes from. True.
The argument doesn't need to be that Dems were wholly imperfect and that Republicans are bad. Republicans are way worse than the Dems have ever been. It's just annoying when you guys are being like, the Dems have always played it high. 2016, Hillary was not playing it high. It was
Can you name
absolutely
one
dirty
not high
and
comment
smearing.
that she said? What was dirty? She said
like
basket of deplorables, right? And they're still holding that over. Like
She was
that's
just, the
that's the
entire
worst thing you
campaign
can
was
point to.
smearing
I
him.
just wanna
the
be clear.
entire campaign was smearing him.
Yeah, I just want to be clear. It's not just about the.
Hold
on.
All of the
Hold on,
news, the news,
hold on,
the news.
hold on.
Okay, wait.
Hold on.
Reporting
Hold on.
accurately is smearing. That's your problem.
wait.
That's Trump's
This is,
problem.
no. Yeah,
Okay,
Lotus is, okay,
this is
we're talking
a
about
mistake.
going
Soy Pill, you're
low.
making
Is
a
this-
mistake. Soy Pill, you're making a mistake. It's not just about what the politicians say. It's what about your side says. It's what's about your culture says. And
Yo, what up, bud? Why is your brand of nationalism redeemable? Oh no, Grand's on the nationalism tip now. You know what? It's because Mida's proud to be an American, where at least he knows he's free, and he won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to him, and he proudly stands up next to you in a state of today. Cause there ain't no doubt Mida loves this land. God bless the U.S. Mida. Yeah, Hell Panel. Yeah, they're. This is what do they call it? It's a tribunal. It's a tribunal for Mr. Destiny here and his edgy jokes.
have to have not lived through that time if you thought the.
All right, one clip. I can't jump to too many clips here, but one clip. One quick one. Failed to determine content classification. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, something in the link that came. What was it? Oh, something got. There it is.
Get you what you fucking want. You
no. You are so.
It doesn't get you what you fucking want.
No. You are
Shut the fuck
subhuman.
up. You've been
You are
bought. I don't know
subhuman.
what
You
you're
can't
talking
say
about.
that. Complex ideas. You don't understand
It's
complex
not
ideas.
a complex idea. You're injecting complex ideas.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not.
basically,
This is
I'm
what
really
we
not.
Connor,
wait, give them credit. I got a definition word for it.
I think they're right about something.
In law, did you ever have to study psychology? Because I think what we're experiencing right here is one word: projection. He's so dumb that he can't understand complex topics. So his defense is to call us dumb whenever we point out the inconsistencies of this argument. You know, subhuman. That's a very Nazi argument. Do you have your white pointy hat anywhere? Because that's what I'm waiting for next.
Yeah, I'm more racist than you. I also believe in eugenics. I still.
What the fuck, dude? No way. No, it's because I copied the link from the Restream chat, and the Restream chat blocks out certain combinations of letters depending on whether or not it thinks it's a slur. And in the link, it thought you put a slur in there, so I just grabbed it from the Twitch chat. That is crazy.
waiting for next.
Yeah, I'm more racist than you. I also believe in eugenics. I still think you're a massive retarded piece of shit, and I wish that you would get a vasectomy.
We got a racist, subhuman. That's a very Nazi argument. Do you have your white pointy hat anywhere? Because that's what I'm waiting for next.
Yeah, I'm more racist than you. I also believe in eugenics. I still think you're a massive retarded piece of shit, and I wish that you would get a vasectomy.
We got a racist.
Dude, is he being ironic here? What's the deal? How could he get away with something? When was this? This is only a couple months ago. Okay. Well, whatever. I mean, even if this is after the election, how could he have possibly been on board with Progressive Victory and be known to be, for eugenics and a self-described racist, Yeah, Admiral Gibbs. I know Admiral Gibbs, yeah. He's got beef. He got into a beef with Connor, and he told him that he wasn't white because one of his parents is an illegal immigrant. Okay. Weren't they buddies? Back in the day? I thought they were buddies, and then maybe they were buddies. Excuse me. Maybe they were buddies, and then like the election happened, and then maybe there was some fallout there. He was a cop, and he's trying to get disability. He was a cop. I'm pretty sure he was also military. He's ex-cop, ex-military. And he's like a Warhammer 40K fanatic or something. I think like he has his own Warhammer 40K channel or something. Kind of went crazy. I mean, well, it's one thing if he wants to be like this conservative Republican guy and be anti-Trump. I'm fine with that. I don't care. There's plenty of people like that. But to be on board with Progressive Victory, this, to me, just sounds like fucking absolute nutbaggery, Wow, I did not know that. I don't know. I'm still leaning that this is just him being ironic. Like, because, like, Wick wouldn't even have him on this panel if he was an actual racist and eugenicist, He needs money? Yeah. Yeah. He's been streaming a lot lately. I've seen him stream a few times this week. Or in the past week or two, I want to say. Control opposition for their debaters to make that. Okay. Yeah, that could be interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
Democrats, I'm talking about the people, I'm talking the rank and file, treated Republicans or even moderates well. A lot of people disowned their families, right, during that time because they thought they might be voting for Trump, right? They literally won't talk to their families. They literally excise people from their friend groups. It was a huge issue, and it turned off a lot of fucking people.
I don't disagree with this, but the problem is I guess we're going to keep conflating these different parts of what is being mean, right? But this whole strategy.
Is that not being mean?
Hold on. No, excising your family, by the way, is a very mature thing to do if there's crossing a line that you think they shouldn't cross. And I've done it before. And that's very different from, hey, you're a fucking idiot. No one should talk to you. You don't know how to vote, which I agree turned some people off in 2016. I know a lot of people who were turned off from the Dems by that. But when I'm talking about they go high, we go high, they go low, that is a very different strategy. That is, hey, these people are smearing and calling names and like dehumanizing, and we're not going to do that. That is what the Dems have been doing up until about like the weird comments from, or maybe like Joe Biden saying,
relevant point, so I went next.
Will you shut up? This is what we're talking about. And then, yeah, you can talk about the populists. Obviously, they're going to be way more, edgy than the politicians. But the politicians of the right are going low every single time, and it is not hurting them.
Okay, I have a relevant point. I want to make it before anybody else fucking gets in. Don't piss on my leg and fucking tell me it's raining, okay? Kyle Rittenhouse specifically. I already know that this is a perfect point about Democrats misbehaving very badly in reference to this because Steven recognizes this point. All the progressives, all the fucking libs, and the mainstream media establishment, and the president of the United States and fucking self ran with the narrative that a 16-year-old kid grabbed an assault rifle and committed a mass shooting against BLM fucking protesters and killed 3 black people in Kenosha, Wisconsin. But as soon as you watch the fucking video, it's obviously not true. Now,
okay. Connor, I don't disagree with you. Can I back you up? Wait, but I can back you up. Here, let me back you up.
No, let him finish, please.
The reason why I respected Steven so much was because he was willing to pursue truth, political side. I actually stopped respecting Vosh.
Guy in the top left is a Fed, by the way. He's everybody. So that's who Maida and everybody else was talking about. We're talking about. So his name on the internet is Counterpoints, but he has since, I think he came out with his real name is Connor. So yeah. Well, so maybe, I don't know, Maida was saying he's a eugenicist and a racist. You're saying he's a Fed. I don't even know what to believe anymore about him. All I know is that he runs a Warhammer 40K channel and that he's always on these fucking panels. Alex Jones about down over the Epstein Files disaster, which happened over the past week. Yeah, I did see that. Or I saw a little bit of it. I didn't see the whole thing. Said Trump. The Ring. A reference to the Lord of the Rings book series. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I did see a little bit of it. I don't know why you guys think Mida isn't a leftoid. Mida's like center left. He's a gun-loving center left kind of guy, I guess. You know, he's not a leftoid, dude. He's not like Kairos. You know, you're saying that Kairos and Mida are basically the same person. Kairos is a leftoid. You know.
As much because he went exclusively with what was convenient to his political side. So if you guys start engaging in that behavior, I will lose respect for you.
What did Biden say? Didn't Biden say that he would respect the court's decision on the Rittenhouse case?
Yeah, he did. He also retweeted out a video calling him a white supremacist mass shooter.
So, hold on, wait. It was like it was implied with the way that the compilation video, but like the fact that you just said that is crazy to me.
Do you think that it matters that the president of the United States calls you a white supremacist mass shooter? Obviously, it does.
I think that if you're going to obsess over a single video that was made, that he retweeted on his account, and you're going to claim that like, oh my God, this was so horrible, and ignore the 50.
No, this is Wick. This isn't Prime. We were watching a Prime clip, but this is Wick.
Trillion insane things that Donald Trump, the president of the United States, the leader of MAGA and the Republican Party, says daily. That's a stand.
Not even a left. I would not consider. You might even qualify it with technically. I talked to you plenty of times. I never got like, I'm a leftist vibe at all. Whether technically, economically, spiritually, emotionally, you know.
That we're never going to win, which is why we just make fun of dead kids and everything else, because you were never going to appeal to people like you. It'll never work. You'll always be able to find. You'll always be able to find one person. You'll always be able to find one bad person on Twitter, one bad lawmaker, whatever, one bad person that says anything, and then meanwhile, Republicans are like rapid firing out the most instant things ever. You want to talk about Rittenhouse? What about George Floyd?
Okay, Steven, you've gotten lazy in your argumentation. I'm not that guy. I talk about George Floyd. I'm not talking about you.
This ain't about you.
90% of my time.
This isn't about you. I don't care about you.
90% of my time criticizing the fucking right because they've lost their fucking mind.
This isn't about you. This isn't about you.
Huh?
This is about the electorate.
Yeah, it's about you.
No, it's not about me. It's about the electorate. I thought we were having a conversation about the electorate.
No, it's about you.
What is it about me? I'm voting for probably for them no matter what.
Engaged in bad behavior that I think is ineffective and counterproductive, and I don't like it. That's why I'm talking to you.
And
I'm saying
the conversation is about the tallies.
It seems to be that everybody on the Republican side can be the most degenerate fucking people they want, and they don't. It doesn't seem to be
giving them that permission or license.
But it works.
No, it doesn't. It's destroying the fucking country.
It works for their party. It works for them to win elections.
So then why don't we just start doing misinfo? Why don't we just start doing misinfo?
Because I think misinfo is bad.
Yeah, so is like treating other people like they're subhuman. I didn't say Edgy Jokes is a good motherfucker.
Being condescending to somebody is not a morally horrible thing to do. It's just
nobody
rude.
fucking said it was, Steven.
Then why are you comparing that to lying?
Because I'm talking about efficacy.
We're not talking about efficacy to forsake morality. The difference between being condescending or telling mean jokes is different than lying.
I thought is that we can actually talk to the other side and engage with them and not go scorched earth all the time. I thought bipartisanship was some level of value. Yes, they are more deplorable in every single way. I will just grant this to you every single time.
Kyla,
but what I'm talking about, don't fucking interrupt me, is Connor and Tallies, who are people who don't like the right. They think it's despicable. Maybe not Tally. Let's just say Connor, who are informed, are looking at the left's behavior and also find it deplorable. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, can't we just tweak that? We are already good at policy.
You abandon.
We're already good at policy.
Because of that, he's a
you abandon those people because they're not worth appealing to. You're better off energizing your own side. If somebody can sit in an area where they look at one guy and they see him rape 500 people, and then they look over there like, well, that guy he made some rude comments about some woman's
bra or whatever. So I think these two things, like, I'm really undecided. You never even waste time with that person. You just try to appeal to, you energize your own side, or maybe you find people who are genuinely, legitimately in the middle. But if there are people, like I said, I haven't seen the tally stuff, but if this is somebody who's legitimately like undecided about both sides, this person's fucking retarded. You don't waste your time on that person. Why would you put
I'm
hours and
telling
hours
you,
into trying
I'm
to
telling you, the
persuade that
average
person?
moderate is fucking retarded. I'm telling you that the average moderate is
Whoa,
that
why are you
most
saying
voters.
that? Clip it, and the Democrats will never win because you just said that. We're done. Why'd you say it?
Actually, I disagree. I believe that democracy works with retards. I actually think that it does. I think it's baked into the system to assume that people are
I agree
fucking
too.
stupid.
I've heard Erudite hates leftists. Yeah, it's not. I don't even think she hates leftists. She just knows that leftists hate her, so she's kind of coming, very guarded when it comes to leftists. Yeah.
Okay,
no, I also agree.
great.
But you're saying on one side, Steven, I love that you can go out and be this person.
Seeing it fall apart is amazing. I don't think it's falling apart. I mean, they just did the whole Tampa thing. They did the Unfuck America tour in Tampa together. I don't think it is. I think they can have these kind of back and forths and still manage their working relationship. Because I think Kyla has just way too much to gain by being his friend, regardless of how much he's going through right now, or how much he's put himself through right now. Let me put it that way. She has goals, and she wants to use Destiny to get to those goals, and I don't think a panel like this is going to cause any kind of actual rift between them.
Person who reaches out to people. However, because you made this edgy joke, or because you cross a line sometimes, that's like poison to the thing. And it's like, wait, hold on. You're quoting
What's up,
people
Kapati?
at events that say they like him, they're Republican, they're conservatives, and they still show up despite not liking the thing that he said.
That's true.
Clearly,
That's true,
because
Kapati.
they're
I think he's funny and
delineating that-
entertaining,
You
not
guys
because they
agree
would
with
ever
me.
side with
If
him
you
in
guys
any
agree with
political
me-
agreement ever.
If you guys agree with me, then why? Well, he's walking away now. Why is Steven right now saying, "Don't reach the retards, abandon them"? It sounds like you guys disagree
and unleashes me.
No, Kapati, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Legion.
with each other as well. I'm saying we have to reach the retards. Yes, the extremists will never reach. I'm not talking about like the embedded MAGAs who will never move. I'm not talking about those people.
By the way, I
that's
think
not my argument,
Steven
that's
just
my
got tired.
No, so clearly, Kyla, I'm not saying don't reach out to people who are retarded, because I do think most people are stupid and we do need to appeal to stupid people. What I'm saying is we are not going to waste energy policing our own side, saying, hey, there's some unambiguous, like, we can't really tell you how many people this is.
How am I
but some
even
of them are-
policing our own side? I'm not trying to cancel. I'm not
You're
saying that you
saying-
guys are bad, that nobody should support you. I'm
don't do it.
saying,
Is that not policing?
I'm saying you would be more effective if we actually held
policing
to
you.
the standards that we say we care about. The right is fucked in large part because they've forgotten to have principles. They don't have them. They don't even
How are
begin
they
to
fucked?
espouse
They get
them
bullied by
anymore.
They're in power right
They're
now.
getting
Kyla. What
fucked
the
by
fuck are
the
you
one
talking about?
principle that they held, which was around the Epstein files. It's
They're not
fucking them
getting
over.
fucked. They have
When
whole
you hold
government.
standards for
Passing-
yourself and then you fail the standards, the people
they're about-
notice. The problem the Democrats had is multifaceted. Number one, we pretended to have moral standards that we never
Look,
gave a fuck
how are
about
the
by
Dem- how are the
kowtowing to
Republicans
the
fucked right now?
progressives.
How are they
And number
fucked?
two is that the standards that we do have, which are good democratic standards, we are not always upholding to. We need to be more clear about when we're upholding to them. There are some people
what are
that
our
we need to go
standards? Our
scorched
standards
earth
are-
over,
don't we
but I
mean
am
to people?
telling you, Tectones and Asmongold's don't need scorched earth, and neither do tallies. Those are
Okay,
not the
and
people.
Can
The
you- can
Matt
you show me
Walshes,
that
go
this is
fucking
like
off.
winning
Don't
some
care.
people over by being uptight like we were for 20 years? Like,
Yeah,
I
dude.
don't see this
yeah,
happening.
Soypult, there's
Wait,
literally
no,
people
I
in
can
my
give you so
comment
many-
section who stay. I would like to interject. Thank you.
Sure.
So there are people who come into my comment section and they say, "Oh, I really like Steven until X." And you know what X normally is? It's either the past fucking week with the dead girls, or it's Corey Compatore.
Yep. and are they
It's a
switching
fucking
their votes?
firefighter. What's that?
Are they,
Now,
are
to
they
be
saying
fair-
they're going to vote Trump now?
You guys claim God guided that bullet, okay? So I'm just laughing at it.
Well, and by the way, actually, hold on. This brings up a previous point. So you were saying that like, oh, it's just jokes. It's just jokes. And actually, that Soypill's probably brought it up more than anybody else, saying like, oh, you're trying to police our jokes. You're trying to police our jokes. Excuse me, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is the malice that most people are identifying, is the fact that you and I both genuinely believe that MAGA is a quasi-fascist movement that doesn't care about the rule of law, the Republic of the United States, or its people, correct?
Yes.
And that's why you don't care that Corey Compatore, or whatever his name is wittingly or unwittingly, he's effectively supporting fascism.
Who's this person? I don't know this person.
It's the firefighter who
Fireman
got
that
shot at Trump's
the
rally.
Trump rally in Butler.
I care that a person died. I care that right now, when Medicaid gets shut down, the red states are going to be hurting the most. It's a little bit like, well, you voted for this, but like, I care that people are
Steven,
dying.
do you
obviously,
care that
but
Corey Compatore
I
died?
think we can joke about it.
No.
Corey, do you care? Or Steven, do you care that Corey died?
Well, I mean, it's bad when people die, but I'm not
Do you
gonna
think it's funny?
spill any milk over it. I mean, a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you can make a joke about it, and it could be absolutely funny, 100%. Yeah.
So why can't we
Okay,
make a joke about
what I'm
the
pointing
October
out is
7th
that
stuff?
there's
Yeah, this is fucking. Why does it do this? Hold on.
pointing out is that there is an
Hold on, no,
underlying
stop,
malice
please.
that you are
Counterpoints.
denying.
Counterpoints. Why can't we make a joke about the October 7th stuff then? That's funny.
What's that? Make a joke about what?
it.
The October 7th stuff, right? When Hamas came in and killed all those Jews. Funny, right?
Yeah, you can. I just expect people to be fucking pissed off about it and stop supporting you
Yeah.
politically.
What was the wait? What was the God? Do you think somebody here is going to say we can't joke about Jews?
Well, no.
No.
Wait,
The-
hold on, Soy.
hold on.
Soy. Do you think we can make jokes about October 7th? Are you okay with that?
I would never make a joke about a Jewish person. That's not my thing.
I make
Bro.
I make a Holocaust and October 7th jokes all the time. I'm
No,
like,
yeah,
what
no,
do you
I
mean?
think of course
yeah,
they're
of course,
fine. No,
obviously.
it's just-
Jesus.
Hold on. Do you think that the people making jokes about it on October 7th drew people to their side or pushed them away?
Yeah,
I
is
don't-
there
no,
an
no, no, no,
undercurrent-
wait, wait, wait.
No. Is
People
there an
making jokes about
undercurrent of
October
malice?
7th
This
has
is
nothing-
relevant. Is there an undercurrent of malice within the joke?
Yeah, it was the policy. It's not the fact that people like Hassan or whoever the fuck are making jokes about October 7th. It's the fact they actually legitimately 100% support Hamas. That's a big difference.
No
think
shit. That's why people are pissed off, because they actually think that you don't give a fuck when conservatives die because they're the
Oh
victims
my
of their own
God.
policy.
Bullshit.
Yes. What?
Oh
No, don't
my
bullshit
God.
me. That's literally
Destiny
the point.
really
What the fuck are you
Destiny
talking about?
really thought that God smited those girls for masturbating with NordVPN? Seriously?
No, they think
No,
you
no,
just
no.
don't care
No, no,
about
They
You're
think that
missing
you
my point.
don't. You
You're missing my
think
point.
that they think that
You're missing
they
my
think
point.
that you
They
feel
think
that
there's an
Republicans are
underlying
subhuming.
malice that you
Hold on.
legitimately do not give a fuck about these kids. And I'm pretty sure I heard that you don't give a fuck about these kids. I'm pretty sure you said you don't give a fuck.
I'm just tired of the Martin Bailey.
And like
I'm
a
just so
general-
tired of this Martin
There is
Bailey.
no Martin Bailey. No one here
Yes,
is saying
there
you can't
is.
make every
You're
joke.
doing it. You're doing it over and over again. I am saying being mean loses the middle, and then you guys go, "So you just want us to be nice and not mean jokes."
Okay, wait.
No,
address
but
this
the
argument.
way
Address
you're
this
being
argument.
mean
Stop.
in these
Address this-
specific
address-
instances is alienating people to your effect, like detriment
Where
of
is the
everything.
thing-
policing, by the way.
But the
Where is the
Republicans
evidence?
are
Where
mean
is
and
the
they
evidence?
won.
I am
We don't
policing.
even know if
Wait,
that
wait,
being
where
mean
is-
is what
what
made
is
the
the-
win, Stephen. What's
Okay,
more
so-
likely, Stephen? Do you think that Trump won because he was divisive and mean?
Yes,
Or do you
yes,
think he
yes,
won
yes,
because he
yes.
had 8 years of
right back.
campaigning, funding behind him, and Kamala had 3 fucking
What
months?
was the campaigning that he was doing? It was
Being in
mean
the
and
eye of
being
the public.
divisive. And how was he
Being
in the eye of the public? By being
What?
mean and being divisive. That's
Jeb
literally
Bush
all
was
I
in
don't
the
think
eye
that
of
a
the
lot of
public
people
for
were
way
like,
longer than
yes,
Trump.
this is why I love him. The issue is that Kamala
That is
has
literally
months.
they all say that. What do you mean?
Every single incumbent lost. Did every incumbent just
Where have race migrant-centered violence happening over the past week in north of Spain? Yeah, I did see something about it. I think I had a clip about it. Did I have a clip about it? Let's see. Is it? Syria. Mm. No, I did have a clip about it. I don't have time to go digging for it, but yeah, I've heard it's been kicking off over there. I thought there was two sides of that though. I thought there was like I thought like people in Europe were pissed off at tourists. Like I've seen a lot of videos about Spain and Italy, particularly, you know, telling tourists to go home and they don't want tourists to be there. So maybe there's like anti-tourist and some anti-migrant activity going on. But I mean, I just assume this is like an everyday thing in Europe, or at least in Western Europe.
Lose because their alternative was just mean.
Kyle, have you been to like these Trump rallies where they're all like, God, I love how mean he is to Democrats. All these shirts are like, yeah, Trump
Yes,
that bitch.
of course. And I've
They
been to
love it.
Democrat
They
rallies
fucking
where
love
they
it.
also love how mean Dean Withers is to Republicans. Yes, partisan hacks love when you're mean to the opposing side. This is obviously
yes,
fucking.
that's it. That's what we
I'm
agree.
not
Yes.
talking about partisan hacks. You
I
stupid
am.
Matt Bailey
I
fuck.
would rather.
I am talking about the middle. I'm talking about the
is
middle.
not. If you want to spend your time trying to convince those people who are undecided somehow still, then you can do that. It's just not a very efficient use of time. If you want to talk
Was
from some
that-
moral perspective,
who
that's
won
fine,
in
but it's not effective.
2020? Who won in 2020? I can't remember. Who was it?
Biden did?
Wasn't Trump mean like the whole time?
Yeah.
Oh,
Are
so
you
why
saying that we
didn't
think
why
that
didn't he
being mean
win?
is the eliminating
Because
factor between
COVID
winning and
literally
losing?
destroyed his entire fucking
Right.
attempt to-
So do you guys? Well, Soypill, you actually implied that the reason that he won this year in 2024.
No, I'm saying
Trump
being
is because
mean
he was
doesn't
mean.
lose
That
you
the
election.
moderate didn't care so
No,
much.
I'm saying, no,
we don't.
that is not the
You
reason
have no
people win.
evidence for
It's
that
not the
claim.
reason people
You have
lose.
no evidence for that claim.
What do you mean? He won.
He won
That- my point is this is not a thing that's driving away so many people that it loses you elections. That's what I'm
You
saying.
have
Not
no
that it is
idea.
the reason people win.
You have no idea if that's even true. You literally said
won.
that
He's
Trump
mean
won
and he
because
won.
he was
That is
being
my
mean.
argument.
He was
He's
divisive
mean
and
he
getting.
won.
Trump-
My argument is
he
that it
just
did
said
not
it.
make him lose.
Steven just said it. You don't get to run away from this. You guys literally said that him being mean and divisive got eyes on him, which was free campaign money, which is
sure,
what
yeah.
got him to win, and that the moderate didn't mind it.
Okay,
right?
just to be
And in
clear,
fact, they enjoyed
there's
them being
multiple
mean to the
things
wokes.
happening, and it is a
So who-
very popular thing among his base. That does not mean it is the reason he won, and I'm not saying that. I don't think Steven's saying it either.
Like, here's
Okay,
a really
so
simple question.
stop.
Let's say that Trump
Here's what
became
I'm
more.
asking you.
Wait, if Trump
Don't
became more
Martin
inclusive
Bailey
with his
me.
rhetoric,
That's
if
not a
Trump became
Martin
more,
Bailey.
wait,
You're
wait,
just
if
It is
Trump
a
became-
Martin
Hold
Bailey.
on,
It is
hold
a
on,
Martin Bailey.
Hold on. Let Destiny go. Let
If
Destiny go. I
Trump
wanna
became
hear his
more
question.
inclusive with his rhetoric, would he do better or worse?
I think hard to say. I think potentially better, probably better actually. I think the moderates would hate him a lot less. Doesn't he have like one of the
He'd
lowest
win by
ratings
more.
of like?
He'd win by more
like-
if he did that. If he wasn't
people
such a
don't like
fucking
him.
He has low
divisive
ratings, but among
bitch,
Republicans, he
he
has
would
a
win by more.
massively high rating. He has a massively high rating.
Yeah, among partisan
Yeah,
hacks.
because
But
he's
I'm
a
interested.
hardcore
again,
fucking right-winger.
I'm interested in the moderates, in like the 30%, right? So yeah, of course the Republicans like him because he's getting sick dunks on the left, and I think that that's shit. I think he would have way more popularity if he was less divisive and nasty.
And not just
Absolutely.
that, there's clear evidence for this.
Republican in the primary, do you
No,
think
hold
he
on.
could've done well?
I was talking. Thank you. Appreciate you. Love you. Listen to you for 10 minutes. So we have all the fucking right-wing centrists or whatever, which, by the way, Steven, you said no centrist exists. It was me that you were describing that doesn't exist. But we have Konstantin Kisin. We got his fucking schlubby glasses fucking person. We have Lex Friedman. We have Joe Rogan. We have all these people
Richard
who were
Hanania.
super left 5 years ago, including Andrew Schultz and everybody on his fucking podcast. And what did they do? They used Trump as a fucking Rorschach test. They read in what they wanted to see because the left fucking pissed them off while not paying attention to what Trump said at all. And then they voted fucking right in the last election. So
Why did the
pretending that
left piss
people
them
are
off and not the
unwinnable
right?
or that
Why
it
don't you guys
doesn't
don't ever
matter
answer
is
questions? You see,
bullshit.
yes, I understand you. Yeah.
Bullshit.
Why did the left
Bullshit.
piss them off and not the right?
What?
Why did the left piss them off, but the right didn't? When the right is so aggressive on
Because
all
they're
of these issues,
white men
Because
who want to
it's
tell
vi-
edgy jokes.
It's vibes.
about
It's all
minorities,
vibes.
but
They
not
hate
about dead
old,
kids.
less
They
PC
want to
vibes.
tell
White
edgy
men who want to
jokes?
tell edgy
That's
jokes
my
about
point.
minorities, not
Oh,
dead
it's almost like
kids.
nobody's
Yes.
arguing about it.
Poland's also anti-migration protest, border security, Senate activism, reaction to migration. Yeah, well, you can talk to Conrad about that one. You can talk. You're gonna have to talk to Conrad about that one.
Edgy jokes. Soypill, congrats.
First of all, Connor
You've
clearly
arrived.
is,
We're
and
an
he just
hour in,
agreed-
but you
and he
finally
just
got
agreed
here.
with
Yes,
us that clearly
I've
this
accepted
huge-
Soypill's argument.
these
I'm
people-
trying to police his jokes.
And,
Okay,
and Connor
counterpoints is in
just
charge
admitted-
while I
hold on.
have to use
Wait,
restroom.
oh my God.
So just
Yeah,
counterpoints.
Connor
in charge.
just admitted that these people who have these million like fucking people audiences who Kamala did not go on, and that is a big criticism of what she should have done, are people that want to be edgy, that want to be authentic, that don't want to be policed, and these people are now like young voters are swinging towards Trump. So somehow how this is not a way that we should go. We should not be more like these podcast hosts who are like appealing to the everyman, the more authentic people. We shouldn't do that.
No,
Are you asking me
unironically,
or
what I'm
Connor?
saying is this
asking Connor,
specific
'cause he just
joke,
said that.
kind of like Kyla said, was more offensive than it was funny. So it was a bad joke. And by the way, actually, Steven made content about this, where he's like, isn't Tectone the edgy guy? Isn't Asmongold the edgy guy? Don't they love shitting on Mexicans getting deported? Don't they love all this shit? Yeah, they do. They're fucking hypocrites. But just because they're hypocrites and they're stupid doesn't mean that you don't have to appeal to them.
But it does, because I can look at how do they grow their audiences? Who's the most popular political streamer in the world right now? It's Asmongold. Where are all of these like
people
incredibly...
do you think you gained by asking or making fun of like dead kids? How many people do you think you gained when you asked if a fucking father of a 12-year-old if his daughter had sex? How many people followed you off of that
How many
tweet?
people did Asmongold gain asking about fucking dressing up as a Pokemon trainer to go to fucking catch illegal immigrants, or laughing about fucking Alligator Alcatraz, or like
people hate Mexicans. Most people don't hate kids.
Okay, so then the issue has nothing to do with, I guess, edgy jokes, whatever. It's just targeting it better, I guess.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
that would be my argument, is that edgy jokes are totally fine. In the case of these edgy jokes, your timing made them more offensive than they were funny. So you
Wait, then your issue is edgy jokes. You can't say I would
My
prefer an
issue is
edgy
not
joke at a
edgy
later
jokes.
point in time. That makes it
My
not an
issue
edgy
is
joke anymore. That's the whole
No.
point.
No,
Yes.
no, I think making
Yeah,
fun of dead
timing
kids
is
was
like-
always an edgy joke.
Okay, so then what? Then the time that you just said was completely irrelevant. You just don't ever want people to make fun of dead
No,
kids.
I literally didn't say that. Do you want me to restate it?
You just
Yeah,
said
restate it.
it was too close to the event, essentially. That's kind of what
So-
you're going for.
It made it probably more offensive to people. In the case of this edgy joke that he made, because it was so close to the event and it was quote tweeting people actively looking for the kids, people found it more offensive than they found it funny, which is why it didn't hit
Okay,
hard.
I'll go
I
ahead
don't
and stand
personally
on
care
business
either way.
and say that you
I do
shouldn't-
think it's ineffective in this case.
I'll go,
but I don't give a
I'll
fuck
go
about
ahead and
the edgy
stand on
joke.
business that as a 40-year-old man, you shouldn't talk about 12-year-olds jerking off. That's my perspective.
Right.
I think that as a 36-year-old man,
Destiny-
you probably should
Destiny-
never talk about
edgy enough,
Haitians
like-
eating fucking dogs. You shouldn't talk about deporting people. You shouldn't laugh about people getting killed or denying FEMA
Are
funds or
you,
wildfires, whatever. But
Steven, what are you interested in? Growing the biggest audience or being a politically effective pundit? Which one matters to you more?
it's a combination of the
Why are these
two.
mutually exclusive?
Sure,
Yeah,
but which
what?
one would you prioritize more?
I don't know right at this point in time right now. But I mean, hold on. Are the most politically effective pundits the people that are like doing the inclusive to all people, or the people that are engaging in like the most derisive and the most like condescending rhetoric?
I don't think that Asmongold is engaging in the most derisive and condescending rhetoric. No, I think like the strongest that we have, he's just not. He's being nasty, but it's somewhere in between, right? Asmongold, for example, has some level of like being reasonable, being like, man, it's really
I'm
shitty
sorry,
when conservatives do
Did
this
he
stuff.
not dress up like a Pokemon trainer to catch illegal immigrants? Is that not derisive?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
and
did.
then
He
he
said
made
he
the
would. He
Muslim
said he
jokes,
would.
and then he walked back the Muslim jokes because he pissed or not
Yes.
even Muslim joke.
He does
He
bad
did the
things.
spicy fucking Muslim statement, and then he walked it back immediately because he knew he pissed off a bunch of people because he picked
didn't
on
walk
his
it back because he walked it back because he got
Yeah.
banned for a week. That was a different.
Oh,
Yeah, but it was
bullshit.
critical.
Some people actually have feelings, Steven. He can actually feel some level of
You
contrition.
think Asmongold feels bad about offending Palestinians?
Maybe.
No,
He's got
no,
like
I don't.
60
I think
ideas.
Asmongold. Here, I'll be super straight. I think
Asmongold
Asmongold
wants to
cares
come
about
on,
growing
we
his
can
audience.
ask him.
I think the most important thing to Asmongold is growing his audience fundamentally. However, some things I've noticed him say over and over and over again, for example, is he constantly tells his audience to not be racist. Now, I would put to him and say it's a little hypocritical to go dress up like a Pokemon trainer and chase around illegal immigrants while also saying don't be racist. Feels like this is going to lead to the same thing. I'd be right with you on the hypocrisy of Asmongold. However, he's also doing things like when people were covering like the super fat chick that was talking about men's issues, he like told his audience like I think 5 or 6 times to stop mocking her weight and that this isn't anything about her like beauty or looks and that they should only talk about ideas, right? So I'm not saying that Asmongold is this perfect arbiter of what we should be like. What I'm saying is he's a pretty good example of retarded middle. He's a pretty good example of it. Somebody who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's just kind of like jumping on waves that will make him popular. And the question to me is, will Asmongold ever talk to you now that you've gone scorched earth with him?
Asmongold wouldn't talk to me before I went scorched earth with him. So
What about Tectone?
I have no idea. Probably not as well. Didn't we literally try to schedule something with him and he bailed?
No, he first of all, he bails all the time because he's ADHD.
Okay, so then the answer is no. So really, it
no,
doesn't matter.
no, he has been absolutely willing to come on your show up until the point, unironically, he canceled the show on me, thanks by the way, because of the shit that you said about him. He's been willing to engage with you the entire time.
He was willing to come on the show and kept either missing flights or saying he didn't want to travel to Florida or just didn't do it. So no, I don't buy that for a second.
Okay, that's really handy. It's really handy for you.
Well, what was he planning on coming on supposedly like months and months earlier, but never managed to make his way down or had to cancel?
Yes, he was planning to come on for a long time, and he is a flake, but that doesn't mean that he's not willing to talk to you. And I have a feeling that if I messaged him and we had some level of rapport and asked if he'd be willing to talk to you pre all this, like you mocking him for his dad shit, he probably would have said yes.
I'm actually going to back up Erudite. He talked to fucking Chud Logic.
The fact that
Chud Logic.
That's great that he talked to Chud Logic.
Chud Logic.
If I have to play nice with somebody who's going to weaponize their dad's veteran military service,
nice.
you are. You keep trying to say it.
No, I'm not.
I'm not asking you to play nice. I'm just saying don't
nice.
say these certain jokes.
No, stop. I'm asking you to be nice in the right ways and mean in the right ways. I think when you are mean to certain people is absolutely effective. When you humiliate people who have extreme beliefs that nobody would get on board for example, when that like Endure guy got mocked by Melina, that was super effective. We were super mean to him and it destroyed his career because nobody thinks you should endure abuse. It's a fucking insane thing to say, right?
Why isn't the standard the same on the Republican side? Why isn't the standard the same on the Republican side?
Because they're awful people, and to be clear...
So do you think it's ineffective? Wait, do you think it's ineffective for them?
They're unironically doing evil shit.
Do you think that it's hurting their political effectiveness when they're mean to everybody?
Yes.
Yes. Now.
Yes.
They're getting hoisted by their own petard. They are being hoisted by their own petard.
Okay, so you can say this, but just to follow. So a great example of this is the obsession with Leah Thomas. They obsessed over this swimmer girl forever, who I don't remember her. Maybe she was a huge piece of shit. Maybe she was making fun of dead kids and I just missed it. They made fun of her so fucking hard that not only did they get fucking all this trans shit rolled back in all these places, so they actually have like new laws passed because of it. They managed to get her fucking awards revoked at her school.
Yes,
and they
because
won all their
going after
elections, all things.
vulnerability.
So, like, where is the ineffectiveness of their messaging here? It seems like it
Because
worked really fucking
all
well.
of these groups that you were talking about, for example, Leah Thomas, people are worried genuinely, and I think you are genuinely worried about this, is destroying fair play in sports. Leah Thomas is absolutely a person that we are under question about whether or not fair play is happening in sports.
Policy. I don't know why you're talking about policy right now. I'm talking about rhetoric.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Can I tell you
in the
how
case
to be
of all of this
hoisted by their own
rhetoric,
petard?
you can't shame 50% of the population, not because it's bad to, but because it's ineffective. Now, to be clear, the reason that they're effective in shaming these groups is because they're smaller populations. Does that make it evil? Yes, I disagree with them shaming trans people, which is why I fight with them about it all the time. However, the reason why they can do it and get away with it and not necessarily lose everyone is because they're not shaming 50% of the population. If you shame 51% of the population who voted for Trump, unfortunately, even if you are right to, and I think you are, I don't think it's wrong that you feel embarrassed by them.
The Democrats are pests
interrupting me.
that need to be excised and won the election. What are you talking about?
I'm not done.
Okay, we'll keep saying something wrong.
God, you're so fucking impossible to talk to sometimes.
Oh man.
I'm mad.
I'm done.
Sorry, you're making me mad. Okay, cool. So Trump said that Democrats or the Republicans are saying that Democrats are pests that need to be excised from the fucking like
Fuck me in my
country,
hand, right?
and they won. Like
Destiny's some weak shit. Czech President Peter Pavel signed a historic amendment to the country's criminal code, placing the promotion of communist ideology on the same legal footing as Nazi propaganda, approved by the Czech Chamber of Deputies. With 86 of 120 lawmakers in favor, the amendment is supporting or promoting Nazi communists or other movements that aim to suppress human rights and freedoms. Violators face 1 to 5 years in prison. There you go. The polls are at it again, man. Counterpoints is nothing. Who the fuck is this Beanie Boy? Beanie Boy is his name's Soy Pill. It's actually, I think it's actually one of those hats that has like the propeller on top, and you just can't see it because his hat is tilted. But he's a guy named Soy Pill.
this clearly is not like, oh, well, it's because of the small group that it worked. No, it works when they demonize Democrats. It works when they demonize every minority. It works when they
You're doing it again. You're literally doing the
demonize
thing.
all these
they
people.
They didn't win over divisive rhetoric. Actually, they did. Tee hee ooh woo. Which is it, Soy Pill? You got a fucking pick. I would argue.
It's so
I
easy
would
to
argue
understand. Hold on,
that
Kyla, I
why
know you're
Trump
smart. You
won
can understand
is he
this.
had
Kyla,
8
please
years
listen to
of
me because you're asking me a
advertising.
question.
8
Kyla,
years
please.
of advertising, and Kamala had 3 fucking months, and our incumbent fell into dementia. Unfortunately,
I'm not disagreeing with
That's
you.
why
And if
we
you
lost.
listened to me earlier too, you'd know I'd said this is not the reason, but Stephen and I's point is that this clearly is not such a poison thing that it's alienating everyone. If he can talk about more than half the country about like this and still win.
Okay.
Okay,
Counterpoint.
on
So
my
what I
list
would
of
like to
issues-
say, I've waited patiently. Thank you. Appreciate you. Love you. Anyways, so what I would like to say is that you asked for an example where Republicans are actually suffering for their rhetoric. And what I would say to you is it
Don't say
took a
Epstein.
fucking decade, but what?
He said, "Don't say Epstein."
No, I will. I 100% will. Fuck
Oh
you.
my
Why wouldn't
God.
I?
Because it has nothing to
Hold
do
on,
with
hold on.
rhetoric at all. It has nothing to do with rhetoric. You're
Listen
going to
to
waste
both
5
sides
minutes
for 5
yapping on
minutes.
the
Shut
most
up.
irrelevant shit in the
Shut
world.
up.
Oh my God.
Shut up. Shut up.
Oh,
I'm sick of your
man.
shit. All right. So they primed people to think that LGBTQIA are fucking groomers. They primed them to think that fucking every gay person was a pedophile. They talked about how the demon rats, do you know where I heard fucking demon rats? Demon rats are fucking pedophiles, and they're trying to groom your kids, and they're trying to fuck your kids, and they're trying to make them trans and all that kind of stuff. So they did a decade of fucking propaganda about how pedophiles are the most unique evil on the fucking face of the planet. And then Donald Trump tries to fucking sweep the Epstein files, and it finally cracks the fucking base. Finally, there's something that they were primed in order to hate so much that even when their cult leader told them, hey, change your tune on a dime 180 degrees, half the base said, fuck you, we're not changing.
Right,
And don't
Connor,
tell
the
me just
reason
because
this
it's
isn't-
convenient
this
to my
is- no,
argument
it's-
that you're not going to use it as an example. Bullshit.
No, the reason,
fucking
Connor, the
try.
reason it's a bad example is because what you just described was decades of demonizing people, being incredibly mean, and taking all these marginalized groups and just absolutely disparaging them, and it working. And then the thing that's breaking is that he's now lying and saying, actually, I never cared about that. Also, Epstein's not a big deal. Not that he stopped being
Why
mean.
would you want to volunteer? Hold on. So do you think it was evil that they vilified gay people and trans people and fucking other groups in order to be pedophiles for a fucking decade? Was that good or bad?
Obviously, that was bad, and I'm not.
Wait. When you say good or bad with respect to what? It was effective. It worked, didn't it? How many times? I bet even you were probably on
effective. It was
shows
very
saying.
bad. I'm making a moral judgment.
Were you one of those people that were saying the most effective ad was saying that Donald Trump is going to be president for us and Kamala Harris is going to be president for they, them? Like, well, this is all hateful rhetoric that seemed to have been pretty effective, no?
Yes.
Yeah,
The
it
issue,
was
the
fucking
question
effective
is,
until they got
when is
hoisted
shame
by their own
effective?
petard. Do you want me to watch you guys go charging down the wrong direction for a fucking decade and then have somebody grab your underwear and give you a wedgie so hard that it goes through your fucking asshole and rips your body in half? Because if you want
You know what?
you do that, I'll let you do it.
If I can steal a Supreme Court justice seat, if I can have both halves of Congress, and if I can have a fucking authoritarian leftist fucking president for 8 fucking years, then fucking yeah, sure, I'll take a wedgie at the end of all of that. Okay, to eliminate things like fucking Roe v. Wade, affirmative action. Just like, what do you mean? Yeah, no shit. You think the Republicans are like, man, we sure did fuck up right now, real bad because of this whole Epstein business, man. We lost fucking everything.
No. This is 100%
That's
the
too
crux
many,
of the
Grant.
issue.
He has like fucking 20 videos out right now about Epstein. He's basically treating Epstein the same way I imagine he treated the Johnny Depp case, because from what I understand, like, he's known for 2 things, like obviously for, you know, streaming WoW, but then like also I think he got a lot of viewership during the Johnny Depp trial, and it just seems I didn't watch any of that because I didn't know who he was at the time, but I you know, he's putting out fucking Epstein video after Epstein video, fucking 2 or 3 a day just on Epstein. So it's more like, which one do you want me to watch? You know? Multiple times over the past few days. I know he's cranking it out, dude. Because he knows it's working right now. It's like the same thing with Chud. Chud's been cranking out fucking pirate software stuff, and he's sick of talking about it. But he's like, my numbers have been so good. I just have to do this. Yeah.
I care about people having souls and truth.
Stop!
And all that
No,
kind of
pick
shit.
one.
And what you just said,
I appeal to the
what
moderator.
you just
Are we going to talk
said-
about political
what you
effectiveness
just
or what's
said-
morally right? He keeps
what
hopping
you
from both
just
arguments.
said-
Pick one.
Hold on.
If you win, who gives a shit?
The
He can
argument
easily
is
just solve this.
hold
Hold
on.
on, Stephen. He can easily just solve this by saying political effectiveness is tied to like,
Exactly.
your morals. which is-
moral.
But that
morality
could go either
is
way. That could
politically
go either
effective.
way.
I
that-
agree,
that
which
doesn't-
is why the group that only had like one or two principles, because most people, by the way, when asked about the tariffs before the election, were like, well, Trump's probably lying about that. Teehee, right? Which is actually a number of things that moved a bunch of Trumpers off of him when they're like, oh fuck, he
Did it really
wasn't
move
lying
anybody
about
though?
this.
Like I don't know.
Yes,
If this is moving
yes.
anywhere
One of
near
my
as much
close
as it should.
friends who voted
I
for
don't know
Trump
how the
was-
economy is
was
in a year.
moved. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. One of my close friends who voted for Trump was moved as a result of that and him betraying his own court. These were
In
things
your own
that moved-
words, most people are stupid, and you're smart enough to have smart friends who can be moved on things like explaining policies.
Sure, I
and
agree that my friends will be moved by different things. However, when we're talking about shame, we have to talk about what's effective, okay? We do have to talk about what's effective. And in the case of when shame works and when it doesn't, shame works when everyone disagrees with the thing that you're shaming. So if I shame somebody for being a pedophile, everyone's happy to jump on board because we all agree pedophilia is kind of not good. There was a really interesting study that came out in Sweden that was looking on the efficacy of shaming rhetoric on human rights violations versus climate change. And what we found is that when we shame people for violating human rights, people tend to jump on board. When we shame people for things like climate change, which is way less, people are clearly not on board with that
Agreed.
one, right? What led is people rallied harder to their climate change beliefs.
No, I
So
don't
if
know
they
if
just-
Steven is, but I'm definitely not advocating for the scorched earth shame literally every Trump voter because that's all we have. Because clearly we've talked about a multifaceted approach to this, and you can be mean and edgy and reach out to people, and these are both things that are not diametrically
I
opposed.
agree, and I think that you do that well many of the times. I think that you do that well. For example, I wouldn't be having like nearly as cogent of a conversation with leftists, right? If I was talking to leftists, I would have to go like way the back up. However, what I am talking to is when you talk to Tally, for example, I think that that was a really good example of you failing these principles that we have talked about that you care about.
Did it again.
Care about. That's what I think.
My principles are when someone pisses me off, I'm going to yell at them. Sometimes I can restrain that, but when they're so stupid and also have the smugness and condescension that Tally has to go and say, hey, I know what the Democrats should do. Yeah, I'm going to call them stupid.
I think you guys
Do you need
I
to
think
talk
both
about
of
kids
you-
masturbating in order to do that?
Hold on.
Asking you, Swipe Hill, not
Hold on,
Steven.
Connor,
Steven
Connor,
wants to talk.
Connor,
Connor, I think
respectfully,
comedy is legal now.
Can I finish like my line of argumentation, yours, because I don't care as much about the joke?
Sure.
Okay. So I think both of you are too quick-witted to go scorched earth with as many people as you might want to. Now, Soypil, I don't think this is as much of an issue as it is for Steven. My issue with Soypil is honestly exclusively the Tally conversation at this point in time from what I've seen. However, what I've seen from Steven is that he goes scorched earth with people way too quickly. And I think he's too smart and quick-witted that he doesn't need to go scorched earth first. And I think it does turn people off of him. I think it makes him less effective as a political pundit. For example, there are so many people that approach me regularly going, man, I really miss when Steven was like more good faith with conservatives. It feels like he goes off super fast. And then you'll talk to conservatives that you disagree with, like you're still respectful with Myron Gaines, who you think I think you probably think 99%
they had a chat the
of
other
his
day.
takes
I don't
are
know
not
why you keep bringing up Myron when one, we have a respectful microphone, but two, you will never ever find Myron doing a 2-hour show of like, I can't believe that Dusty made fun of these fucking children. I can't believe he was. My guess is he would probably just say like, oh wow, pretty edgy, bro, and that would be it. So this is not the same type of thing at all. Like this whole like obsession over being offensive is exclusively in the purview of like most of like the Republican lawmakers and the Republican mainstream media and a lot of the Republican alternative media. And it only works because liberals will do it to ourselves too. Like Republicans will be like, I can't believe you guys made fun of this thing. And liberals will be like, oh my God, they're right. That was so horrible that we made fun of those things. And then when Republicans do it, liberals don't even say anything anymore. We're like, oh yeah, it's the 47th.
bullshit.
It's
Fuck
the 47th
you.
anniversary
Fuck
of
you.
kneeling on George
Fuck
Floyd's
you
neck.
and
That's such a
bullshit.
fucking epic joke.
Fuck
Oh, good
you and
job.
bullshit.
I'm going to be
Fuck
honest,
you and
Steven.
bullshit.
I'll be
Fuck you
super
and
clear with you,
bullshit.
Steven.
No,
If
no,
you had-
Erudite, I'm
Hold on,
not
let
Fuck
Kyla finish her fucking point, and then we can give it to you.
If you
Literally
had
sit
the
on my
same,
dick for 8 minutes at a time.
If you had the same social capital with Asmongold, Tectone, or Donut Operator as you do with Myron, I have a feeling that you would be able to
You'd be
leverage your
friends with
social
them.
capital now. They would probably cover for your joke a lot more because they'd see you nuance. And most importantly, as MAGA is blowing up right now, if there's any time to pull people away from the right, it is right now. You could leverage that social capital to do so. But because you've gone scorched earth with retarded moderates, you won't be able to do so.
That's fine, but to be clear, there's no world where that is the case. The two people with some of the most political capital on the right were Kyle Rittenhouse and Joe Rogan, and they got blasted immediately when they tried to stray from the party, even if their vote wouldn't have mattered. They got immediately blasted, and they came back into the fold fucking immediately too. This fantastical delusion of if you play nice with them, they'll play nice with you is only true insofar as you're not as much of a threat to them and their audience that you'll actually start converting people over to the other side. They just want you there to look like, oh, well, he's kind of like a nice liberal, and that's cool, and so we can like be more respectful of them when we vote to take away all of their rights at the ballot
But
box.
do you know why that the right is hardly ever moves over these days? Is because the left has made it clear, and Democrats have made it clear for the last, fucking 8 years, that they are not welcome and they will never be welcome in the Democratic Party. And they have done this over and over and over again on a personal level. So yes, you have, hold on, let me finish my fucking point. You have Republicans constantly, you have Republicans, hold on, you have
I think I think Mida knows who Donut Operator is, but Donut Operator I think is like some right wing YouTube, like a gun Second Amendment YouTuber. Is he like I think he's joked around about palling around with Nazis or something. I think Mida, you and I have talked about Donut Operator before.
moderates. You have moderates constantly, right, who are just getting constant shit from the left, like, oh, how dare you speak up of this as a white man and things like that, right? How dare you do this, right? And they will. I've gotten more death threats and rape threats from leftists than I've ever gotten from Republicans, right? The leftists are going to hate this conversation way more than any rightoid would, right? The leftists are the ones that are going to cancel me. You're trying to cancel me for having you on. It's not the rightoids, right? It's this constant thing. We give them no off-ramp. We give them no place to go. And when people like Tali does come on and say, hey, my vote is winnable. That's what she said. My vote is winnable.
Wait, what did you just say?
Comes on and says, fuck you.
You just said that you're getting canceled more, yes, by the left. I agree. We should stop doing it. We should embrace all of the hilariousness and the edginess.
Yeah,
I agree, 100%. Thank you. Yes.
Hold on. But Soipel, you already agreed that in the case of Tali, it was ineffective what you were doing. And if
to
you
try
want
to win her
say-
vote, which I think is a waste of
If
time.
you want to say, I'm just too tired, I'm too weak, I'm too small bean to be big enough to like be good faith with somebody that just pisses me off, that just hits the threshold
Whoa,
of
I was not bad faith
intolerable.
with her. I was mean to her. Those are
You
very
were
different-
absolutely
No. So,
hold on. The entire time.
I've waited.
Okay.
You asked me to
you
wait.
Were insanely bad faith.
Thanks.
I had to
Appreciate it.
stop
Okay.
watching. I was so grossed out by
Okay,
the
so-
conversation, if I'm being honest.
Anyways, so
are you going to vote for
moderates? Okay. Who wins fucking general elections? Moderates or fucking extremists?
But your smugness
Your
makes me
base.
not like
Your
you.
base.
Just be clear.
That's fair.
Bullshit. It's fucking
I don't
moderates.
think moderates are
dickhead.
the ones that win elections. No, it's if your base turns out and
Bullshit.
votes.
You think that 55% of the fucking
base-
Republican Party is the reason why Trump won?
Wait, you
No, I
just
think
target
100%
these
of the
groups
people that vote
differently.
for them-
You can do both. You can do both.
You can do both. You can talk about kids jerking off and you can be nice to moderates and win the moderates?
That's not
I
what
don't
I'm
know what
talking
what do you
about. I'm
wait? Hold
saying
on. Can we
you can
let's define real quick.
galvanize your base and also appeal to moderates. This is obviously true.
Sure, and I think those are two different
I'm
kinds. Wait, but those are two different strategies.
Steven and
If somebody wants to do
Soypil
that,
are
they can do
alienating
that.
moderates intentionally
No,
so. They're
Steven,
being
your
fucking
joke didn't
dicks to their
galvanize
own
You're not
anyone
community.
to
if you're going to be alienated by comments like that from the left, but never anything that's a million times said more by the right, then it's not worth targeting. Fuck them.
All right, I don't know what to tell you. People talking about
who are
dead
alienated
kids.
from the right
people
who
don't
are
like it.
available
I don't know
for
what
you to
tell
scoop them up, but you're being a piece of shit, so they're not going to fucking listen to you.
I don't think you realize how precarious you have to be with these people if you're trying so fucking hard to make sure that nobody is saying the wrong joke or something to keep them there. And then if you do, the microsecond that happens, then they retreat back to the most disgusting, divisive fucking person on the fucking planet. I don't know what to
Yeah,
say.
isn't
That's
it
like-
sad? Isn't it sad that the social rapport that the left has with moderates and with everyone else is so poor that they're literally picking a piece of shit rapist over us because they find us so fucking distasteful?
Kyla, the
That's
point
my
is-
entire argument. Is that yes, they are
That's our
retarded
argument,
for
though.
it.
But that's our
No.
argument.
Yeah,
No,
Kyla, this
saying
whole time
we
I've been
should
saying
figure out how
this
to be a
shit
little
with
bit more
Tali
likable.
is a waste
Yeah,
of
the
fucking
likable is
time.
shitting on the other side. That's why people dehumanize people. It works.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, progressives and liberals have been so fucking annoying for the past decade that the American people picked a rapist.
Annoying
over you.
is different from being mean and being authentic and like actually expressing like a disgust or frustration with people, which you've been doing, Connor, and I think is very authentic. In fact, I appreciate when you yell in this conversation. But if you were up there being like, well, I can't be, if I yell at Soy, then he might not like listen to what I'm saying. No, I'm saying we need to put our energy into getting as many people to understand the consequences of their vote, whether that's for the Democrats or the Republicans, and anything past that is a waste of fucking time trying to tiptoe and walk on eggshells for people like Tali, who, like I believe she said in that conversation, Kyla, no, actually, after all this, I still won't vote for a Democrat.
No, that's not what she said.
Should I waste
That's
my
not what
fucking
she
time?
said. You were
She
missing.
said she's not sure.
what
She's
she
still
said.
undecided,
No,
which is fucking retarded.
The worst part is, I bet you if you were way less heated with her, especially talking to you two ODD freaks, I can't believe I have to explain this, that when people start demanding that you say something, what's the likelihood in that conversation you're going to say it?
I think
Because
she should
I
go
know
away.
I know for a fact that Steven still won't admit that he's dressing nicer because I encouraged him to, or that he's got an ADHD test because I encouraged you, because he's too fucking ODD. And I have a suspicion, Soy Pill, that you're just as
what's
ODD.
ODD? I
And
don't
if
know what
somebody
this means.
convinces you to do something, you're going to be resistant, especially in a public situation where you don't like the answer, that you are going to forever not
I will
going to
always bite the
concede.
bullet. Can you?
Okay, so
explain what
firstly,
ODD
correcting the
is?
record. Okay, the ADHD thing came from my lovely 3-time accuser, Cherry. So thank you. That she was the one that turned me on to Adderall. Number one. Number
That's
two. Okay.
crazy.
Number two.
Crazy.
Number two.
I helped
the issue.
book
The
your
issue.
neuropsych
The
test,
issue.
motherfucker.
The issue. I don't even think I took a neuropsych test. I just did a. I got a prescription via telehealth because fuck those. It's not worth it.
Second of all, explain what ODD
issue.
is.
The issue is. Odie is the name that we give dogs when we kick them violently.
No,
the children
it's
dogs.
not. That's not.
The issue is that if somebody can be persuaded by the other side acting at this like -10 mark, and in order to persuade them to the other side, like you have to act at this like +8, and if you drop 1 point, they're gonna leave. This is not a person worth holding on to. I just think
But
there's
I am
something else that's not
telling
aligning
you,
there.
No, I am telling you that right now the Democrats' policy is so good and nobody understands it because they hate everything about the veneer of what the Democrats are so much.
And what
Oh,
is the
sorry.
What
overall-
veneer?
Wait, Kyla. What is about the Democrats now is similar to what Steven's doing at all?
Nothing. I'm not talking about. I'm not even that interested in Steven's edgy joke, other than saying it's
No,
probably
no, just
not
in terms of like
effective for
being
timing.
mean, like
Yeah,
Kamala
like this
and everybody else.
meanness
Like,
or this, like,
yeah, where was the mean?
condescension,
Like Walls? Was
Yeah,
he the
for
super
example,
mean guy?
when
Was
I-
Biden the super
yeah.
mean guy?
No, it's the people.
No.
It wasn't the
He was-
politicians. This is what you
he
don't
went
understand. People are influenced more by the people who personally attack them than they are by what any politician says. So when you
Okay,
have
but then at
people
that
in their
point, I mean,
family,
Louis, we
in
lose,
their
we
friend
lose.
group,
It's over.
or
It's
former
over.
friend
Hold on.
group,
You have to
coming
understand then
after
that
them.
if on our side, if we can just point to the Republicans and go, look at what the president says, look at what the vice president says, look what the Speaker of the House says, and on your side you're like, okay, well look at this. Twitter user 487,000 just said this, so fuck your
It's
whole
not
side.
just
Fuck
Twitter,
them. I'm
it's
gonna go
people
vote
in
for
their real
Republicans.
fucking
You're
lives.
not Twitter user 487. You're not.
No, but I'm saying that, like, if on the left you can say, like, if we can say on the right, look, they're lying about Haitians eating cats and dogs, and they literally fucking admit it. You go, well, what about that one Kai run where CNN said fiery but mostly peaceful protests? Gotcha. And it's like, well, if that's the standard, like, you're.
That's not the
No,
standard,
come
motherfucker.
on.
It's
Come
It literally is the
$1 billion
standard.
worth of damage
No,
and 25
you-
fucking
your
homicides.
career.
That's the fucking standard.
Your
That's the
career.
bad behavior. And you should
Yes.
call out bad behavior regardless of who's doing it. That's the other thing that fucking pisses me off. No.
Donald Trump didn't even acknowledge that
Don't
he
act so
lost
fucking
the
obvious, you
2020
fucking bitch.
election.
No, fuck that. You fucking literally said in this debate, oh, this is the crux of the entire issue is I pushed you enough that you finally said all bad behavior is on the table because the right wing is doing bad behavior. As long as we win, I don't
Making
give a
jokes
fuck.
about people
That's what
being
you
mean.
said.
It's not all behavior. There's worse stuff in life than making a mean joke at somebody.
Yeah, we
No
both
shit,
agree
nobody
on
said that.
misinformation.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
No.
Then why,
Literally
wait,
invented the position.
where did I even imply that all bad behavior is on the table?
So I'm muting myself because I'm putting on Miss Rachel. So, anyways,
Wait, where did I say that all bad? Where did I even imply that all bad behavior is on the table?
I'm answering your question. You asked me a question 10 to fucking 15 minutes ago. You literally said, like, as long as it gets me a fucking hardcore left-wing fucking whatever, you were actually excusing a shitload of bad behavior. You might not have used the word.
No, bad behavior or
Excuse
bad or
shitload.
edgy jokes. When am I excusing bad behavior?
Yeah, we both
Just
said
literally
no
rewind the tape.
misinformation.
I'm not even going to
We don't
argue
wanna
with
steal
you.
the
Anybody can
election.
rewind the
Bad
tape.
behavior.
Rewind the tape.
Rewind
Bad
the tape.
behavior is going scorched
the
earth
tape.
on people who don't deserve it. It's making fun of Tectone's dad because he doesn't like your edgy joke. It's, for
Hold
example,
on. Tectone brought his dad out to fight somebody to wield him as a fucking veteran or whatever.
so
So his dad is fair game. Unfortunately, that's kind of how it works.
saying that he's just sad because the girls died and he has less victims now makes it fair game because once Tectone's dad was public as well?
I'm saying that if you're going to weaponize your dad to win internet arguments, that at that point, I mean, it kind of is, it's kind of out there. Yeah, no shit. That's why
sure
when he came back at me and he tried to make fun of me and my son or whatever, it's like, oh, it's fair game. You know, I'm kind of excited for my kid. It's not fucked at all. What do you mean? That was the level that we were at. It's not. That's where we were.
It is just because you guys like Mullocks game your way down to hell. Just because you Mullocks game your way down to hell.
The Republicans are already in hell. They're already in hell and they're winning down there.
I agree. They're
winning.
They're not. They're literally not.
Literally are. Literally.
No, they won the election in the major bet again. Why? Why? Is it because of edgy jokes and meanness?
It certainly didn't hurt them.
Do you think that that's why they won?
I know that Nikki Haley and DeSantis didn't even get a debate with the meanest guy on the planet, so it seems like it didn't affect them too much being mean.
Okay.
Yeah, was it Schultz who came on and said that all Puerto Ricans live on an island of garbage, and they actually were able to turn that into a promotional thing where Trump drove around in a fucking garbage truck and then won the election? Like,
and they put it in Joe Biden attack because when Biden said the only trash that I saw there were the MAGA.
You're screaming about how awesome Republicans are. I don't think Republicans are good.
Do you think Joe Biden's mean?
I don't need this. I don't need this. You don't need to convince me that Republicans are in hell.
This is about Joe Biden. Do you think Joe Biden's mean? Do you think Joe Biden is mean? Does he?
No.
Do you think, okay, so when he says, "Hey, the people who call all Puerto Ricans garbage are garbage," and they use that as a promotional thing for their campaign, and then are able to win off of that, what would Biden do?
That's not what they won off of, you stupid motherfucker. What I am saying to you is that
clearly fucking helps.
What I am saying, no, it did not. What I am saying is that despite, let me fucking talk. You gotta let me talk now. What I am saying is that despite how awful they are, despite the fact that their principles are in hell, people still find them a better choice than the Democrats. And I am saying that the reason why the Democrats are so disliked, despite our principles being higher, is because of shitty behavior, particularly because we are the side that says that we're the moral good guys. The Republicans aren't doing that anymore in any way, shape, or form.
Because we say, like, the Republicans all.
No, I think that I've said this a million times.
That was the reason.
I'll say this again. The reason that we likely lost is because Trump had about 8 years of campaigning and Kamala had 3 months because her incumbency had dementia. And also something weird happened globally that the right and incumbents overall just failed, probably because of inflation post-COVID. That's probably why we lost.
You're right. That's such a bigger factor. And like nowhere, especially when Tim Walz and the whole campaign started calling them weird, was that the thing that was like, well, moderates were like, whoa, hold on, you're calling them weird?
I don't have an issue with being mean. Soypill, again, I don't
hold on, Soypill, do you not think there's a difference?
Beginning, and I'll say it again so that you can engage with my arguments.
I
don't know what's so hard about my claims, but then stop saying you just want us to be nice. I've never for a second said be nice. I think that this is weird but super effective because it's mean in an effective way. And what I'm saying is that when you're smug and nasty to Tally, it's ineffective. And I said in the case of Stephen's jokes, unfortunately, they were ineffective.
Republicans weird, smug, and nasty, Kylo?
Not to the same extent. Hold on.
What,
do you think hold on. Do you think calling Walz calling Republicans weird is the same as making a joke about dead
work for your argument? You can do that, but then I don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Every single person can understand that if somebody says that's really weird, that it's not the same thing as being super smug and saying things like, here, let me pull up the notes. I think you should be embarrassed. I am only here so I can tell you to go away. It is unconscionable that you are here and talking in any way. Do you want me to keep going about all the nasty comments?
I actually do want to. I would make more nasty comments, knowing how stupid she is now. Actually, keep going.
Based.
Okay. Do you think that that's the same thing as calling somebody weird?
No, I would say I'm much more aggressive than Tim Walz.
So glad you showed up for the conversation.
What level of smugness and condescension is allowed?
I'm not sure precisely, but what I am talking about here is that there's
weird is fine. Saying,
I don't
hey, these people are stupid isn't.
Hold on. You're not going to make me do this thing where I stick out a ruler.
I'll give you one. So
I'm not saying you have to give the exact line.
Yes, you are. You actually are saying you're doing the. You're doing.
Line. I gave it to you.
You can have a more ambiguous
line. At what point does 100,000 grains of sand become not a heap, but just a grain of sand? I'm not sure precisely, but I can look at a heap of sand and go, that's a heap, and I can look at a single grain of sand and say, well, that's a single grain of sand.
What are you advocating for people like Stephen and I who are edgy in ways that you don't like, clearly in some ways, and not in the other other ways because you're okay with being
Not the
mean.
edginess at
Which
all.
I'm
Don't care about the
saying
edginess.
that if you listen, I'm agreeing with you. I
Sure.
understand you don't hate the meanness and the edginess, but then what is allowed? Because it's like, well, here it's allowed, here it's not, and it's like,
I
well,
want to answer your question genuinely.
well, that's cool, but
You
I'm
gotta
not
let me
asking
answer
you,
it,
so.
and then
Yeah.
hold on.
Don't talk
Hold
about
on,
kids
I gotta
jerking
be
off.
moderator
There's
for a
my
second.
line.
Wait,
Hold
answer
on.
without saying scorched earth. Good luck.
Okay, we're gonna go. Soy's going to finish his question. We're gonna give Erudite a chance to answer it, and then counterpoints.
Yeah.
I know you want in, so
I'm
we're
not
gonna get you in.
I'm not trying to Loki's wager you into the exact position. You have to say this is the line because obviously you're okay with edginess. I know you are. In fact, you were very nice. You clipped the clip of me saying rotarded. That was very nice of you. But when is it okay? When is it not? Not explicitly, but what are you advocating for us to do? Is like, oh, this is like, are we going to call out people every time they cross the line, whatever that arbitrary line is? Are we going to waste a bunch of energy having these conversations every week, every time there's an edgy joke that goes too far? What are you advocating for?
What I'm talking about is two things. I think there's some good general rules I think Connor has outlined. In general, probably avoid children. People don't like children shit. Children
They don't
are
even
super
vote.
special. Parents do. Sorry. People like kids. I don't get it. Kids can be fucking
Yeah,
monsters.
we
but
know. That's why
people
they're
like
trying to cover
kids.
up the Epstein list now, right?
That's true. That's true. They like touching them too. However, in general, I would avoid standing on the graves of dead children, especially within 2 days of them dying. I think in
Yeah, it's
general,
better to swim
you're
over them
always,
like Donut Operator does.
You're
True.
always going to lose that object battle. You just always will. It's never going to be a good stand for you. However, more than that, when I'm talking about like broader, like how we should orient ourselves, I think we need to look at the people that we are talking to, and we need to understand where they are and have a fundamental principle that doesn't say, if you're a Trump voter who's too stupid to engage, I now get to go scorched earth, and anything I say and do to you is okay because you're not worth my time. I think that that is fundamentally an anti-democratic principle, and I think it's harmful to our movement to do. However, I think other people do it worse than you two. Unfortunately, you two were the two called in to do this, right? But these would be my principles. You don't have an orientation towards Republicans, that they are ontologically evil, that if somebody has voted for Trump, that they deserve to be treated poorly, and I think
And
that
I'm
you
not
need to
saying we
engage.
should either.
Your line for your scorched earth threshold is way too fucking low.
Is
It's more about punishing
undecided
stupid
voter
people
who
than it-
admits stupidity and is speaking as a pundit
Yeah,
of
it's
authority on a panel.
stupidity.
Yeah,
I get
they
it.
deserve it. They
Stupidity-
deserve all
stupidity-
of it. No,
stupidity is
I
not
talk
the
a
line.
lot of
It can't
stupid
be.
people. It's stupid people that are smug and in positions of talking down to an audience of people that I am calling out. And if you want to go back and watch how smug Tolly was being in that, you can, because Tolly's smug too, and that's fine. But I'm going
She
to
was
call it
not
out.
that smug. She was exclusively smug after you came in swinging, which, by the way, you earned, right?
Which is fine, by the way. But I said she was smug before I even went on, which is why I wanted to come on, because it was triggering me how she was
She was
speaking as
not
a voice of
smug.
authority.
I
Well, you
watched
can
the
say
whole
that.
thing.
All right.
And
Well,
I-
fine. That's your opinion on it. But
What
the
I'm
point
saying is, my
that a
suspicion,
smug person
my
condescension
suspicion,
or any
she
pundit
wasn't. I'm
was
telling
stupid
you. I'm
enough-
telling
Okay,
you.
Tolly
She
was
wasn't
perfect
smug.
on her panel.
The
She was
reason that
perfect.
you
She did
thought
nothing
it was
wrong,
smug is because she triggers you. And that's fine if that type of person triggers you. Maybe you don't talk to them because I think you're pretty ineffective with them. Maybe because it's near and dear to your heart. But for some reason,
effective with
you get
Tolly.
more mad. You've already admitted it wasn't effective. And if you are just frustrated with conservatives, that you want to vent your conservative exhaustion, you can do that. But let's not pretend it's fucking effective for a single fucking second. And let's be very honest about the psychology of behavior, which is that nobody is going to change deeply held beliefs by being shamed in that way. They never,
don't disagree with
ever
this.
will. Okay, great. So that's what
Okay.
I'm asking.
Counterpoint.
Maybe avoid
Okay.
shaming people.
Counterpoints has wanted to go. We're gonna give it to counterpoints, or he's gonna yell at me in his DMs. But go ahead. Oh, we can't hear what you're saying. Beautiful, wonderful. This is great, gang.
Sorry, I'm working with children.
Fair enough. Oh, okay. So I guess he's not going right now. Okay. Well,
Give me a minute.
yeah. While he's doing that, the problem I'm having, and I'll step in here for a moment, is that it seems to be your line, Soypill and Destiny, for that matter, is if I feel like it, right? If I feel triggered enough, then it's okay. Then I can do this. And I'm saying that it's not okay to just act on any emotion you feel when you feel it, that we should be
No, we're not
better
saying that either.
because being better.
Oh shit. Well, that is.
actually
I've
being
never
better.
considered that. I thought we should just act on any emotion we feel ever.
A lot of people are behaving
Thank
like
you.
that.
That's so right. Fuck. Oh my god, you're right. We shouldn't just act on any emotion ever. Thank you. Dr.
You know
Wick.
what? sometimes people need to hear the obvious because while they
Bro,
say I
why are you being
understand
so
this,
mean?
they're
Why are you being so
behaving
mad?
like they
Well,
don't.
Wick, do not
It's
act on your
obvious. That
emotions.
was very
Can you
condescending.
Lower the temperature.
My
just a little
ODD is
bit?
spiking right now, so hard.
Your ODD.
Okay.
Oh, you're obsessive.
Just reiterating that the line for me is talking about kids jerking off. Just stop. Just don't do it. It doesn't help
When we
anybody.
say kids, do we mean
Connor-
16, 18? What are we talking? Are we including time in the womb like they do in Korea, or?
Let's go with Germany rules. I think age of consent is like 14 or 15. So anything
Jesus
under 15,
Christ.
just don't talk about it.
Okay.
Because Germans are pedophiles.
Wait, Connor, I have a question. Someone sent me this, and I actually don't know about this, but I think you have like a past feud with one of our mutuals, and it's like he sent me a video of you saying like I'm pro eugenics or something, and it's like, is that something that is also going to turn
Here we go. They're talking about it now. Let's go.
people off? I have no idea about.
Yeah,
this
is that
shit,
Gibbs?
but, like,
And by the
yeah,
way, I'll
it's
stand on
Gibbs.
business for that
Uh-oh.
shit.
Also, when we say
Yeah, it's
eugenic,
fucking
by the
Gibbs.
way, that's killing kids, so that's a bad one
No,
for you, Connor. Good
no,
luck.
it's not. Literally, eugenics means good birth. So yes, I'm for CRISPR. I'm for eliminating genetic diseases. I'm for gene editing, the future of humanity. 100%. I'm for
Oh,
good
okay.
birth.
Okay.
That's a lot more reasonable than.
I knew that this was probably that from that clip of Prime Kais was probably along this path.
It sounded in the clip.
Yeah, it's not eliminating black people or
Unless I'm missing something, Maida, because he's basically saying it was a troll.
Jews from the gene pool. It's gene editing diseases out of human beings.
Okay.
What totally fair.
Never mind. True.
But
Nice try, Gibbs. You fucking dumbass.
He's been spamming.
he's in my DMs too. Okay. Hey.
Okay,
you
let's
guys
just
will-
go back to. Could I bring up one thing?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay,
Tali
so
is.
Swipe
If
Bill.
you guys are okay, Tali is very upset now.
No, she's a waste of
She
time.
wants
Don't
to-
bring her on. Absolutely not.
Bring her
brought
on.
you
I
on.
support bring her on.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine, but
Okay.
I'll
It's
defer
not a
to
waste of
Destiny
time.
being
And
mean.
just to
I've
be
already been
clear-
mean enough to her.
Well,
If she's a
you're not
retard,
finished.
hold on. If she's a retard, do we all agree? Well, Soipel, do you agree
That
that
she
she's a
is?
retard?
Yes. Yes,
yeah.
we all agree.
Okay. So you think she's? I think she's retarded for a vote too. Just to be super clear, I disagree with her vote, and I think her like grinding her heels in to refuse to say that she regrets it at this point in time is also fucking retarded. And I have this conversation with lots of Trump voters.
Why are you condescending? Is
However-
she not going to listen to you now?
No,
Well,
that wasn't
I'm
full
not being
scorched earth. That was
condescending.
just a little bit mean.
So just okay. So we can be a little mean, but not.
Do you guys want to be like slightly good
Totally
faith, or do you
different.
just want to be bad faith?
It's totally different.
Well, the point is, I don't know
These
what you're
are
actually
obviously
advocating
different.
for because
Well,
you're.
no,
saying-
no, no,
you
stop,
call
stop,
it
stop, stop,
retarded.
stop, 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 you guys are about
Why
to-
are you not
you're
I
literally
disagree with
using
Soy.
being bad faith
Clearly,
by
Kyle's
running
not being
away.
scorched earth here. She was just being a little mean. Okay, you should
Yeah,
know the
right.
difference,
But
idiot.
then what are you? I agree, but what are you advocating for
I-
then? 'Cause you
first
can
of
call
all,
it retarded.
shut
You're
the
allowed
fuck
to call
up,
these people
Oren.
retarded, right?
Hold on.
Shut the
Don't
fuck
be
up,
scorched earth.
just being a pot
Here,
stir.
go
Second
ahead.
of all, I said from the very beginning that I don't know exactly what the ruler is, and this stupid ruler argument is fucking retarded, right? I don't know where the heap of sand becomes like not a heap of sand precisely. However, here's a super key difference. I earned social capital with Tali. I'll call her retarded and still talk to her like
They're still just going at each other.
she's a person and try to hear her side. And what I think is a big issue is that if you think another person is retarded, you have now elevated your position to them. You are the non-retarded person, you are the knower, and they're the unknower. And
But you're
unfortunately
condescending to
for
her.
you, that means you're not punching straight. And you have to act as though that is the case, which means that if you have deemed all these people below you, if they are intellectually and morally inferior, then unfortunately, these standards for you are going to be higher. And if you act both as though you are superior and smug about that, everyone will hate you.
So
Everyone
How are
will
you
hate
not being
Okay,
smug, condescending,
just
and
housekeeping
mean by calling
here.
her retarded, saying you're smarter than her, and now talking to her and being like, "Well, Tali, this is
I don't
what
think
should
I'm
happen,
smarter
but
than
you're not-"
Tali. I don't think I'm smarter than Tali at all.
So you're also
Okay.
retarded, I guess.
Okay. I'm
Well,
gonna
I
go
don't.
through-
I don't use retarded to
Hold
talk
on.
about people's IQ.
This is what we're
I think
gonna do.
Tali is super smart.
Yeah,
I just
this
think
is-
that her vote was
Okay.
retarded.
No one listens to me on my own goddamn show, and this is getting frustrating. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna read some super chats and make a little money today because honestly, it's more important than any of you or the topic or anything else. Then, again, unless anyone but Soypill vetoes it, we are gonna bring Tali on because she has been
It's
talked
fine.
about like
Bring her
almost
on.
this
It's fine.
entire fucking show.
As
And
somebody who's better than Soypill, I veto his veto because I.
I'm on fancy teeth. Yet self-awareness, harassing is fun. It's the said when they go low, we go lower. I reject this premise. $5.
scorched earth, and I think it's to his detriment. I think it loses him a lot of social capital that he could otherwise have and that he could be leveraging in times when particularly MAGA is falling apart. And I wish that you would do better, because I think you're probably one of the more effective voices on the left. My criticism of Soy Pill is specifically your conversation with Tally I found distasteful, and I was unhappy with it, because I think that you generally hold yourself to a higher standard, and I would expect that even when Tally is retarded and won't admit that her vote was bad.
Okay, well, I'm much more calm now. So, Tally, what would it take for you to vote for a Democrat in the next election? What can I say to you to get you to come to my side?
There's not just one thing that you could say to me. And I just need to reiterate, I'm not saying that the Democrats should be spending any inordinate amount of time reaching out to people like me. I've declared myself no longer a partisan for the Democratic Party. And so there's a real question, I think, within the Democratic Party of what should the approach be for building coalitions. And you have people built in, the progressives and the more left-wing part of the party, who some of them don't vote, but maybe more of them are more likely to than the moderates, the people who are the disaffected liberals. So I'm not saying that this is anything that the left, that's Connor, I see you shaking your head. I hope that's not what they do. I'm with you, but I don't feel like I'm really truly not trying. I'm not trying to beg to be wooed. I'm here talking as someone who formerly voted as a Democrat and talking about, yes, all the vibes and the cultural things that ultimately pushed me away. I'm not pro-Trump. I wouldn't vote for him again. I just haven't come out and said that I regret voting for him in 2024. I don't know how much that'll do for anyone. I don't, can't change the past anyway. But I'm absolutely a winnable voter in the future. It's not going to be any one thing that you say to me, Soy Pill.
No, it's not about what I'm going to say. I'm saying what do the Democrats need to do to win your vote? I mean, like, you're a former Trump voter, and clearly we need to be listening to what you have to say about the state of the political vibes.
Ali, because I watched the content related to this, could I ask you a couple of things about like what was off-putting about Democrats?
Come on.
Sure. Is this where the conversation should go? Like,
no, I still want to beat them up over their Mott and Bailey. I still want to come at Steven and Soy Pill for making a beautiful Mott and Bailey and hiding behind it and being like, epic.
Wait, what is the Mott and Bailey?
Okay, I keep on saying that being mean alienates the center, and you guys keep saying Republicans are in hell. They're in hell.
Because our point is that Republicans are the meanest they've ever been, ever. And this is the first time they've won the popular vote in forever. So how do you reconcile those two statements?
Because you've already acknowledged that the reason why they won all of this shit seems like it was a mixture of global trends and acts of God himself.
Not just that,
also
though. It
being mean is effective?
No, Trump did not win because of global issues. The Democrats lost because of global issues. How do you explain the fact that Trump swept with no competition the Republican primary after he lost the last election against the same guy who was supposed to be running again?
Why did he win the primaries? Because he has almost all of the voices and names behind him, because they were sick of Joe Biden. They wanted to get rid of Biden.
Yes, just like, hold on. If I say, why did somebody win an election? And you say it's because they got more votes than the other guy, that's obviously not what I'm asking.
Sorry, when I say an incumbent,
Trump's
I'll just answer it.
obviously didn't.
The answer is, when I'm saying not because he got the most votes, sorry if I didn't make it clear enough, what I'm saying is that he was an incumbent, right? The reason why he
wasn't an incumbent, he lost his election. He was running
the Republican Party. Stop being obtuse.
When I say incumbent, I don't mean to use if the word is incorrect, I apologize. What I mean is he was the president for 4 years and had 4 to 5 years already of advertising behind him, which the years of advertising behind a name is super important. What?
Why did he win in 2016?
Because Hillary Clinton eats babies.
Because Hillary Clinton was so utterly unelected.
Why did he win the primary in 2016?
Yes, he won the primary. There were way more people
because
that
the moderates
split
the vote. No. Fuck this. I'm not going to have you rewrite history right in front of me. I know, because I was fucking furious. Trump had 37% of the fucking vote, and there were 3 moderates splitting the Republican vote. If those fucking punts, Kasich or fucking Rubio, had dropped out, then we would have rallied around a moderate candidate, and we wouldn't have this fucking problem, and I wouldn't have to deal with the goddamn Republican Party as it currently exists.
Trump was a moderate candidate. What are you talking about? Compared to fucking Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio, you're staple neocons? Trump's policy-wise was a moderate in that primary.
Do you think MAGA is a moderate movement, Stephen?
In terms of, now we're moving south on the political axis instead of left to right. Hold on.
Do you think that some Republicans saw that he was a repellent, incompetent piece of shit all the way back in 2015?
Trump policy-wise was a moderate when he was running in the primary. The fact that he took like a non-committal position related to funding Planned Parenthood, the fact that he bragged about being in Hillary Clinton's fucking wedding photos and shit like that, the fact that he seemed like kind of indecisive or back and forth on like the Iraq war compared to like the hawkish neocons and shit that you had on stage, especially in the form of Cruz and Rubio, he was definitely more moderate than the other guys in terms of policy. He won because he was
Hold on. I feel like you're talking past my point. Okay. Well, maybe moderate is the incorrect word, but there was something called the Republican Party that cared about a republic and talked about the Constitution of the United States and talked about freedom of expression, freedom of speech, the Second Amendment, family values, all that bullshit. That all existed when Trump was there. But Trump hijacked the Republican Party with a cult of personality, and some people, such as myself, saw that that was happening in 2015 and thought he was a piece of shit.
Can you think about, just real quick.
Normal Republicans
think about what you're saying.
You said the vote.
You said cult of personality. What was that personality based on?
Wait, but we're talking about different people, though, and that's
Why
what Kyla said
No,
earlier.
don't follow through. No. Why the cult of personality? Well, because it was based on being mean and divisive.
And that's appealing to
40% of the Republican Party being dumb as fuck didn't have to do with the original point that we were making.
It's not about being dumb. It's the fact that it's effective rhetoric. It works.
I don't know if
So you think
there's
that
a
Trump
point that we
won
should follow down
2016
here. I
because
think we
he
should
was
probably
mean
move
and
to the next
divisive?
point.
How many times did we hear because he tells
Wasn't
it
it-
like it is?
What? Yeah,
That's why that
wasn't
was
it
the
way
number
more
one-
effective though? Because Hillary was like swinging at him super hard, and he got to always claim counterpunching. Didn't that help his claims?
He
Trump
literally had his
derangement
audience
syndrome.
chanting "lock her up." No, it was not because Hillary swung first. Absolutely
What do you
not.
mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? Trump was way more mean in that general election, and I was even asking why he won the primary. He was mean in the primary. He had nicknames for everybody.
He's a uniquely unlikable
act of
candidate.
God, possibly. It sounds like an act of God. Moderates were fighting over things. and
Okay,
brought
so
down
I can
the
answer
vote.
to the
We're talking about
2016
different
primary. Just real
people.
quick, Tali, please. The 2016 primary, one of the reasons, the major reason I would say that the Trump won in that is because he's anti-Iraq war. That was why. And he was one of the few people on that stage who was anti-Iraq war. He was seen as, yes, he absolutely was. And he was seen as
That's true,
anti-war.
yeah, I agree with
That's
you on
not the
this.
reason he won.
It was one of the major
is,
ones.
it
He
is.
was seen as anti-establishment in the same way that Bernie was.
He was
right?
heterodox.
And he was seen as a firebomb into the system that was going to change it up. People didn't really understand. It wasn't his divisiveness so much. It was that he was seen as an
Didn't
outsider.
he shit on them
and he
all?
was
Wasn't he like
Yes.
super effective in the
He
debates?
was
Like he was
very
like,
mean to all of them, actually.
well, he wasn't just mean though, right?
He was just
mean in
mean.
the right way. No, he
Yeah,
was mean in the right
yeah,
way.
by shitting on Ted Cruz's wife and by
Oh
saying
my
his
God!
dad looked like
Hasn't
the
that been my
Zodiac killer.
argument the whole fucking time? You stupid motherfucker! I've been saying the whole time that he's been mean in an effective way, not in an ineffective
What does that
way.
mean, though? The only thing you
that's
say is
why
just
we
don't
keep
go
asking
scorched
what that
earth.
means.
People like when you shit on institutionalists for institutionalist type things. They
Like
don't
his
like when
ugly
you're
wife?
smug and
Like his
condescending.
ugly
They don't like when you shit on dead
Was
kids.
his wife ugly? Wait, was his wife ugly?
No, but she made that joke and he got really popular off stuff like that.
She
And calling
wasn't ugly?
Rosie O'Donnell fat. Ted Cruz is what? Heidi Cruz is not that ugly. No.
Oh, do they hate Rosie O'Donnell? Is that or the period joke with Megyn Kelly, or the jokes about McCain being a prisoner of war, or like what are all these unpopular
Yes.
things?
I don't
that-
want you to have the exact
No,
policy,
I-
but that's why we keep asking you, what is effective meanness? Because you're not against certain meanness. You're okay with certain meanness. What the fuck is effective meanness?
Effective
Probably
meanness
not shitting
is-
on dead kids and joking about them jerking off. That's probably the line. I've
thank
said
you,
it 4
Kyla.
times.
Thank you, Kyla.
Why? Is it because you can't contend with the point that I just made? Is that
Oh,
why you
man.
pretend it's a non-answer?
No, I
Well,
just
so
don't.
every
I'm
other
gonna
joke
think
every
you
single
okay,
line. I'm
so
just
every,
I'm not
okay,
asking
wait.
you.
So is beating the shit out of kids okay, or what? If that's the only two categories of things that we can't make fun of, what are the?
Come the fuck on. Come the fuck
what?
on. I don't want to do this heap grain of sand argument. I don't
No,
know
what you keep
exactly.
saying, Pete Grain of Sand. You're doing the Nirvana.
Because
Nirvana
you're asking
fallacy.
me for it. Because you're
We're
asking
not
me for it.
asking you for an exact demarcator. We're
When
just
you
asking
say
for in general.
right and mean wrong, these don't make any sense. We can kind of get the feels for it. In the case of the primaries, my understanding is that the Republicans were shitting on him first. They were making fun of him for not being a real politician, and he shit down their throats in return. He was more effectively mean at their own game, which is why it unleashed it, because he was
You can just
counterpunching in the
post
first
hoc
place.
rationalize any meanness, though. Like, how do we go? What's the strategy moving forward? What? Tell me right now. I'll listen, Kylo. What do I do? What am I allowed to be mean about? What am I not allowed to be mean about?
I think the thing
In
that Kyla said
general-
that, though, is the most accurate is you need to pick your targets. So, and again, it's weird to talk about this when I'm talking about myself in theory too, but it's not
I
just
pick you,
me. It's
Tali.
people like me or other people with similar dispositions or whatever who are center left, center right. It also depends on who your audience is, who you're trying to speak to, who you care about influencing. It is true that there are lots of people on the right, obviously, who are totally okay with cruelty. Those are people who you're not trying to win over to your side, obviously,
Okay,
yes.
well, my
They're
audience
in
loved
for
it. They
eating the
gave you a
cats and
lot
the
of
dog.
money, more money
They're
than
in
I've
for all
ever
of
made by
that.
shitting on you specifically and having a little 2-hour venting session. And then
Good.
I went back and
You're
released a
right.
video
You're
to
right
apply to
because
Republicans.
because the far left actually gets more pleasure out of attacking
my audience is
heretics
far
than
left?
they do attacking
It
your
is.
Yes.
audience.
Kind of.
It's far left.
It's the
Yes, it
narcissism of
is.
small differences. It's more fun to fight
Yes.
amongst your amongst people who are closer to you tribally
Right.
than it is to fight the opposite because it's
And if we
expected that
were-
you're going to
if-
fight the opposite.
And if I was having
Okay.
a town hall with a Trump voter, I wouldn't do that.
So my advice, again, if we go back to it,
Yeah,
Steven,
okay.
would be specifically this. I think I've already said it multiple fucking
Can we do it
times.
without saying scorched earth?
Yes. No. Sure. I'll drop the scorched earth for today. But also, why the fuck would that even matter?
Because it
Why
doesn't
that-
mean
why-
anything. What does scorched
It
earth
does
mean?
mean something. It does
What does it
mean
mean?
something.
Define it.
I can't. I've already told you I don't know exactly
like
where
when
they
the
put
lights
sand
go
is,
out.
but
It's
it's definitely
when the
over
lights go
50,000.
out.
No,
It's a
stop,
general
stop,
thing.
stop talking over me. It's definitely over 50,000 grains of sand. I know that for sure, and that's the stuff that I'm talking
What is
about.
the
In
50,000
case-
grains of sand?
Sure, one example would be right after a bunch of kids died, your joke has to be really, really, really funny, and it has to be more funny than it is offensive. Otherwise, it won't
This
hit
is a
well.
meme
and it's
answer. I don't
not
understand what you're
good.
saying. You're not saying anything of it. You're not saying that scorched earth or 50,000 grains of sand. You're just saying that the sand has to be appropriately colored. So then all these jokes are okay as long as they're funny enough? Or what?
To some degree, yeah, that's how humor fucking works. Typically, you decide whether or not a joke hits or not is
Okay,
its
so then
level
this
of
whole
offensiveness. It
conversation
has
has
to be a little
nothing to
bit
do
more
with
funny.
being. Then this has nothing to do with being too mean or nothing to do with going. It just has to do with being funny enough.
No, in the case of the joke, I'm giving you a specific answer. My answer to you specifically is that your threshold of when you go scorched earth, which I guess, do you want me to describe it? You get super nasty, you go after them, you don't talk to them, you make a bunch of insane comments about them that go viral, and then that person will never want to fucking talk to you again. That's what I mean by scorched earth. The shit that you've done with Asmongold and that you've done with Tectone. My criticism for your meanness specifically is that I think that your line for going scorched earth is too fucking low, and you are losing a bunch of retarded
What should the
moderates
line
who
for
would
going
be
scorched earth
way
be?
more open to talking to you if you were way less scorched earth in the way that you didn't go scorched earth with the red pill. You never
What is
fucking
the-
did.
I don't even know what you're talking about when you say I never fucking did. There are a ton of these guys that I blew up. What do you mean?
Okay, you haven't blown up Myron, even though he made monkey KKK jokes.
I've kind of attacked Myron before, but I don't know if
Not
like
scorched
he
earth.
hasn't I say that his shit is crazy. I don't know what else I'm supposed to fucking like. I make fun of the fact that he says the N-word. He's not really somebody who probably should be able to say the N-word because he's like fucking Sudanese or whatever. Like I don't like. There are plenty of red pill guys. Yeah, there are plenty of red pill guys that I've gone like super in on. I've gone in on the fucking Taints with that. I've gone in on a ton of other people. Like what Myron is like totally outside of like my area and outside of like everything that I do. If he was if he was the top streamer on fucking Twitch saying fucking insane unhinged shit, I'd probably be talking about him a ton more.
Earth is whatever you need to do to blow up the relationship, whatever that would look like, which there's absolutely, there is absolutely things that you could do.
Anytime I make fun of anybody on the right in any capacity whatsoever, because that's what it takes. That's all it takes to go scorched earth.
You're
on
allowed to
them.
go scorched earth, you stupid motherfucker. I've already said,
what are we
just make
talking
sure that the
about?
people that you go, make sure that the people that you go scorched earth over actually fucking deserve it and have earned
Asmongold
it.
did deserve it. He was never going to talk to me. He was dodging every single conversation. Even when he got banned, he still dodged conversations. And he's making the most disgusting, abhorrent things possible on Twitch. And he's got the largest audience and he's brainwashing to be fucking mega sycophants. What more would I need for him to go scorched earth? Does he have to personally make fun of me?
First of all, maybe. I'm not sure exactly what that line would be, but Myron has said way worse shit. Way fucking worse shit, and you have not nuked that relationship.
Because Myron is not in any area that I communicate
nukable?
in.
Not
I don't know. I
nukable?
don't know what he's. I don't even know how many viewers their fucking podcast gets right now.
Who cares? What the fuck? Who cares about that shit? I'm talking about the level of social capital you have with people and how much you're willing to nuke it if they say things that piss you off. With Myron, you always couch what you're saying to some of a degree because you have social rapport and you're interested in maintaining it.
literally
while
attacked
criticizing him,
every-
which
I've
I think
attacked
is the right thing to do.
You're just wrong. The problem is that Myron is not like a soy fucking pussy. So you look at that and you're like, oh, Steven must not have upset him. But that's not the case. I made fun of the fact that I think his girlfriend had a fucking OnlyFans-ish Instagram. I made fun of the fact that he comes from the wrong place. We say the N-word. I call him a crazy conspiracy theorist all the fucking time. Like I roasted the fuck out of Fresh when he had his whole crazy thing blow up. Like I've gone in on him a ton, but you don't see Myron freak the fuck out because whatever, we fucking make fun of each other and he doesn't take it personally at the end of the day. Like that's it. But with Asmongold, if I say fucking anything, it's over. And you're like, oh my God, you went scorched for them. That's his strategy, but you're playing into it.
Like, if somebody can be that disgusting and that mean to all sorts of other people, and they get that turned off because somebody makes a comment about them, then fuck it. Like, who cares? You were never going to appeal to this person anyway. You're playing their game.
First of all, what I'm saying is that in the case of Myron, I think you've done the right thing. I think part of why you can get away with being so critical of him is because you have a lot of social relations.
What's the difference between Myron and Asmongold?
One of them
will
is
talk to me. I could debate Myron at any point in time.
So Asmongold might be a character where you can never talk to. That's super possible. I don't know if that's true for Tectone. In fact, I'm very confident.
The fact that he
that's
dodged
not
however
true.
many conversations, and the fact that he's now fucking slurping cum at a fucking donut, you know.
Come on, somebody
fucking
flaking
kitty
after
diver or
saying
whatever.
yes.
No, I'm good. He didn't flake. Why do you think it's so accidental? These people are not flaking, they're dodging. It's obvious. We have Discord. There's a million ways to talk to somebody. I don't know how you believe somebody's like, oh, whoops, I can't travel, or oh, whoops, I can't make the show, or oh, I can't do a Discord. No, obviously the people are dodging. And then they rely on your understanding and charitability to just further that narrative. Well, they continue to act like a fucking insane person, and then the second you say something mean about them, a whole bunch of people look like, oh, well, look, it's because you burnt the bridge. There was no bridge.
I think it would have been
jump
more
in on this
effective.
friendly online conversation?
No.
Because Kyla, every single time, every single example.
Hold on, let Kyla finish, and then you can go, I promise.
Okay, what I'm saying in the case of Asmongold is it's possible that if you had warmed up and gotten a little cozier that he would have been willing to talk to you, right? People flake all the time. Maybe Tectone was just dodging. Maybe he was actually flaking. It's super hard to know, but I definitely don't think that because he flaked a couple of times and he has some bad takes that I'm going to nuke the entire relationship and any potential of talking to this individual. I don't think it's worth it. I think it's harmful. I think it's
It was literally impossible to warm up to Asmongold any more than we already had. Like, Asmongold was literally about to invite Dan on because of this whole fucking crusade against Twitch and everything else, and Asmongold even flaked on having Dan on. So no, that was never gonna happen. Intentionally so, not by accident.
Kyla, my issue is like every example you've had, and obviously this is kind of hard to like, project into the future, but they're all post hoc rationalizations where, well, Destiny got a lot of shit for this tweet, so this was a bad tweet, versus, well, this one really worked because clearly it's working, you still have that relationship.
Wait,
and like
that's not a post hoc rationalization. That's not a post hoc rationalization. Looking at the social response to stuff isn't a post hoc rationalization at all.
How much energy are we going to, how much energy are we going to spend worrying about which eggshell we're going to step on for these people that clearly are able to flip flop back and forth on very little things versus spending all of that energy into our own side, informing the policy. If you can praise me for calling a congressman, let me finish, Kyla. You interrupt. You didn't let me interrupt. All right. If you can praise me, which I thank you for calling a congressman retarded, and now he's inviting me out to his town halls, and now like there's clearly not a line. You can't define it. I can't define it. Why even fucking worry about it?
Rokana retarded with malice.
You didn't call him retarded at all. You said when.
The point is being edgy in this situation. The point is I'm being edgy in a situation.
Example.
The point
you want to walk it back?
The point
Do you want to walk back your example because it was bad? You didn't call him retarded, and if you had called him retarded, he would have nuked you. You said, when is Trump going to call you retarded, and are you going to get ahead of it? Which was fucking funny and true. It fucking matters.
You can't draw the line. I can't draw the line.
This isn't a post-hoc rationalization.
Kyla, please, let me finish. You can't draw the line. I can't draw the line. I'm not going to spend energy wasting time worrying about what the line is when I don't want to
on the largest political streamer? Are we fucking stupid?
You think on Asmongold? You think that something I could say differently would make Asmongold start converting his audience to Democrats? You think something that Steven or I could do? I think
in the case
what
of
are we to do?
There are things that he could do to warm up and pressure Asmongold by being warm, by having some level of pushback that's still like toned and whatnot, that would pressure Asmongold, who is mostly just audience captured, to have Steven on. I do think that that would have been possible, and getting on those shows, which by the way, because of Steven's fucking comment, he's gonna get nuked from most Republican shows because they are soy hypocrites. But also, now you can't talk to any of these people, which is fucking ineffective, which is my entire argument. It's fucking stupid.
Back right now, actually.
And if you want to do it, if you want to do it because you are mad and exhausted with conservatives, you can fucking do it, but don't talk to me about being effective. I think absolutely, Stephen, there are things, you're a smart guy, that you could have done
effective or moral again, or which one are we bouncing between? I keep forgetting.
We have already said from the very you're being bad faith, and you know that you're being bad faith. Because you know that I've already summarized the position that there are two elements to this, which is that our moral principles are downstream for political effectiveness, but I am talking right now more exclusively about our political effectiveness, and this is not a crazy take to make. In the case of Asmongold,
we bounce back and forth between these two things.
There's nothing you could have done. There's nothing you could have done to make Tectone connect with you.
For Tectone, maybe, but probably Probably not. Not now that he's part
Come
of the
the
new.
fuck
Now,
on.
now that he's part of the Texas, sharpshooter group. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Probably
Why?
not.
Is that, do you think that's because you
Because
nuked
those
the
people are all
relationship with
fucking
donut operator?
deranged. Because those people all fucking hate me too.
No,
What
it's
do you
because you
mean?
nuked your relationship with donut operator, which is why he won't talk to you because he's now friends
Because I
and
made
lives
a
in the same
fucking
city.
because I made a joke and he decided he hated me over the fucking joke. Started lying about our real life interactions.
Yes.
Why would I try so fucking hard to appeal to these people? If you want to do it, then knock yourself out. This is
I'm not saying you have to appeal to
humiliating,
them and you have to go to them and you have to
debased-
grovel.
You are.
But for
You're
example, you could go to donut operator in private DMs, for example, be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. You could, there's probably things and steps you could have taken to mend that bridge and have enough social capital.
I can
the
one question,
relationship didn't get nuked.
Sure, one question. Can you give me a single example in the past 10 years where a single Republican, either a lawmaker, president, alternative media influencer, or anybody online has ever done this ever? One example
I
ever.
don't give none. I
that's
don't
it.
want to be
Okay.
Republicans. Wait, what the
Okay.
fuck are we even talking about? How the fuck are we going to
Now
say?
you just said,
no,
now you
no,
said,
no,
you
no,
just said,
no,
I don't
no,
want to be
no.
Republicans.
How the fuck are
So
you
is it
going
about
to say
political
that we are
effectiveness or is
more
it about
morally
morality?
upright,
Because
we are
Republicans
more
have both houses of
morally
Congress.
upright,
They have
that we're
three vote
smarter,
lead in the
and that we
Supreme
know
Court,
better,
and they have the
but
presidency.
also
So what do you
we
want to do?
have
Do you want to be the
play
morally superior
exact
party? Do you want to do the
same
section of
fucking
elections?
Really?
Hold on.
Really?
Destiny,
We
you're
have
not
to play
being-
the
you're not
exact
being
same
entirely
game,
fair.
and yet somehow
No one said
we're
exact same
still
game.
losing. That's what you're advocating for.
I
You're
didn't
saying that we
advocate
should.
for the exact same game.
Yeah,
Hold on.
you're saying, look at all these
Republicans do
awful
is make mean
things that
jokes.
they
That's all
do.
they're doing. They make mean jokes. That's the exact same game. It's making mean jokes. Is that what I'm saying?
No.
Is that what you believe in anything? Okay, so nobody said play the exact same game. So I don't know why
And
you're
why
saying
the
play
fuck
the
are you
exact same
listing
game.
all of the great evils and sins of Republicans to me? Do you think that I disagree with these things?
No, I'm asking you. You're saying that this is such a politically effective strategy is to mend bridges and try hard to keep relationships with people on the left. I'm asking if there's a single example of a Republican who's winning everything electorally ever doing this ever. One example.
In the case of building bridges, yeah, absolutely.
Who?
Winning electorally, I would say like.
Who reached out to who to build a bridge and mend a bridge? When did this ever happen?
Let me think.
Today?
What?
Thomas Massey, he's doing a bipartisan bill specifically on the Epstein shit, and he basically went hat in hand to Democrats.
Didn't Ro Khanna draft
Massey
that
is
bill?
on his way. Massey is getting eviscerated and ejected from the Republican Party because he's turning into a never-Trumper. That's the example?
Good. And to be clear, I'm making a moral argument. Erudite's making an effective argument.
Okay.
Okay. In the case of which Republicans have done this, I
after Kyle's
suspect that
done,
there's
do what
actually a
Tali-
lot.
Tali
My
has something.
understanding of the Republican network is it is. Here's the thing. Tulsi Gabbard is a great example of somebody that they were absolutely willing to build a bridge with, despite her being a long-term Democrat, because she was willing to toe certain lines.
She was
Now, to
not
be-
a lot. No, Kyla.
Yes.
She had a history of very right-wing policy, and she flipped
Sure.
all of it before
Sure.
getting pulled over to the Trump. And that's
Sure.
why everyone was saying you're going to be a Fox News pundit in 3 years because they knew she was already a Republican.
Hold on,
That's a
no, this
horrible
is a
thing.
Problem is
self-fulfilling
that-
prophecy. They're like, if I
Exactly.
if I keep calling you
We don't know if
conservative
it's
over and
self-fulfilling.
over and over again, if I keep calling you,
She
you're
was
conservative, you're
making
conservative,
conservative
you're
policies.
You're conservative.
Every
First of all, you're
single
conservative.
content creator
Eventually,
who says,
people
"I
are going to
left
say,
the left,"
"Fuck it,
they've
I'm
erased.
conservative." That's what they're
I
going to
didn't
do.
hear
Every
so
single
often,
person
yeah.
who has said, I'm leaving the left, has been embraced.
Yeah, because
It
they're
is
youthful
just
idiots, and
easier.
Prager says
It
that to
doesn't
their
matter.
face.
You stupid fuck. They're winning. It doesn't fucking matter. We won't
Oh, so
even
we
let
can
these
be
people
mean,
onto our
but
side.
accept them,
What
and
we're
it's
gonna
fine.
do instead
You just said, wait, you
is we're
said it
gonna
doesn't matter
nuke-
they're winning, but then you said morals are important. Which one is it? You can't keep going between both arguments. What is it? Is
I
the only
said
thing
it
that matters how
doesn't
to
matter
win?
because
or just
they
being
are
moral?
winning. I'm saying that the build bridging
Are we
fucking
losing
worked
because
for
we're not
them.
building bridges?
Are you fucking
They didn't build a
stupid?
bridge. He jumped ship.
They did. Every single person who wants to move
Okay, wait,
towards
if
the
they
left,
did, wait,
they
if
embrace
did, if
warmly.
They did, what part
right.
of the Republican platform changed to embrace Tulsi Gabbard?
Nothing. They just embraced
they
her
didn't
and then
build
she
the
Hold
bridge.
on,
shifted
they don't need
because
to.
people
You're
are
missing the
stupid.
point.
What are
They
you
don't
talking
need to.
about?
Okay. They don't need to use
What are you
policies.
fucking
We're talking
talking
about
about?
What do you
interpersonal
think building a bridge
interactions.
is?
Wait, when the fuck have I ever said that by building the bridge, Republicans are going to suddenly shift their policy?
That's what building
not
a bridge
what I'm
means.
talking
Building
about.
a bridge is another way of saying meet in the middle. If somebody jumps ships and goes completely to another party, that's not building
what
a bridge.
word would you like me to use for saying not meeting in the middle, but instead welcomes them to their side and are willing to talk to them kindly? And when I say kind, I don't
yeah.
mean nice.
Didn't
You're
Tulsi
willing to
vote
listen
to
to them.
impeach
You're willing
Trump,
to
by the way?
respectfully
Wait,
disagree.
wait,
You
hold
could
on,
just
Kyla,
match
wait,
energy. You
Tali,
could just
please.
match energy. And
Tali,
I think
if you
Destiny
came
does
out
that
and
a
started
lot of
supporting
Hold on.
70% of the Democratic platform, I would accept you, but you
Hold-
don't.
Hold on. Hold on. We're
She
not
already
talking. Hold on.
does,
Stop.
Soy Pill.
Stop.
That's
Stop,
the
please.
fucking
We're not
point.
talking. Look, the thing
Why
is,
isn't she gonna
sure
vote for a
enough.
you
Democrat?
guys are talking about policies, and we're not talking about policies. We're talking about how we treat each other interpersonally and how we act on an interpersonal level, and that's going to be far more powerful than any policy you might have. Tali did want to say something, so I'm going to give the mic to Tali. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's like getting lost in all of this here, but I'll just pick up on what you just said. Yeah, it is the way you treat people. And again, it's about who you're trying to communicate to when you're communicating in that way. And so you can match people's energy. If someone is obviously a freak, if someone obviously is mocking death on their own side, then sure, you can do what you're doing to that. You're going to turn off some people, right? You do have to question, do you want to become the other side? I mean, everyone I think was rightfully horrified when all of the people on the right were making jokes about that trans kid who jumped off the bridge, right? And now
wait, just to be clear, you're wrong. You're just totally fucking retarded if you believe that. Who is horrified?
People on the left, people in this conversation.
Like people with conscience.
My bad. Hold on. I rescind that. I thought you said people on the right were horrified because nobody on the right gave a fuck about that.
Well, she said everybody.
I rescind.
Bullshit.
I rescind my retarded. Go ahead.
Bullshit. Bullshit. I'm still here. No,
like-minded people here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Bullshit. There are people who have consciences, who are normal, who are not online all the time, who see somebody mocking someone who committed suicide, and they do care and they do find it repulsive. You thinking that everybody is some dissident right-wing psychotic
Alligator
freak
Alcatraz in the building right now? Alligator Alcatraz, where the joke is if they swim away, they'll get eaten by alligators.
Do you want me to go? Hold on. Do you want me to go talk to my conservative parents and ask them if they find that shit fucking repulsive?
Yeah, wait. People don't like that stuff either. And this goes back to what Kyla was saying earlier. It's like you would have to prove that people were voting, that the disaffected liberals, that the people who held their nose were somehow voting for Trump because they liked the cruelty. The cruelty is the point for some people, not for the people that Kyla and Connor are talking about reaching and being open to and just treating like reasonable humans. They are different.
But the point is that Connor, are your parents there right now, Connor?
No, they're in South Florida.
Okay. Don't want to.
Stop trying to talk to my mom.
Alligator Alcatraz. Stop trying to talk to my mom. Here's the issue. Because this is what I was going to demonstrate if Connor's parents were here. Because Connor's saying, "Oh, well, you want to ask my parents what they think about it?" And here's what I would do. I would go, "What do you guys think about it?" And I'm sure Connor's parents go, "Oh, I think that's really mean." And he would say, "Look at that, I owned you." And then I go, "Oh, just curious, do you regret your vote for Trump?" And they'd go, "No, I would still vote for him again. I'm going to vote for him for a third term." Fucking MAGA. And then I would go. And the problem is that what you can do is you can be cruel for the people that like the cruelty, but it doesn't turn off the other voters who don't give a fuck about it. So what is
not happening in a vacuum.
Stop. I want to talk. I want to talk. This isn't hypothetical. Okay. So what ended up happening was both of my parents, they lived in the Pacific Northwest for a few years, and they got exposed to a bunch of liberals and Democrats or whatever. And as a result, they kind of moderated in a lot of their perspectives. And so my dad got into a bunch of contrarian podcast stuff. And so as a result, he did vote for Trump in the last election. But my mother, who's been a hardcore pro-life fucking Republican forever, got so repulsed with what the Republican Party has become that she did not fucking vote in the presidential ticket, which, by the way, people can accuse her of being a fucking traitor for that because she didn't vote fucking Republican. I don't think that she voted for Kamala, but she didn't fucking vote for Trump. So acting like those people don't exist, you're losing those people when you conduct yourself this way.
Those people don't matter. Didn't Florida vote more for Trump this election than the last one?
Shit, moderates matter. Fuck you.
Oh, my bad. Hold on. I wanted to go with the fucking vote numbers when we could just have your mom as an example. I got to use that legitimately, by the way.
No.
But what's the point? Yeah, maybe your mom got turned off by the rhetoric, but didn't more people...
How much of people are independent or moderates who vote in general elections? How often are elections swung by moderates and independents? By the way,
don't bring up Al Gore. He doesn't want to think about it. He doesn't want to think about it.
Shut up. Everybody shut up. I'm not done. Everybody keeps saying that the Republicans have been sweeping for a decade, but you omit the fucking fact that Donald Trump fucking lost. You can blame it on COVID. You can blame it on economics. He still fucking lost in 2020. So don't tell me that it's been a 10-year Republican sweep. It hasn't been.
I don't think anyone made that comment specifically.
I'm gonna.
You said it multiple times.
I need to hold. No, stop. I need to hold Stephen because he keeps on. He keeps on.
Let Kyla go then. Kyla then Soy. Kyla then Soy.
No. Okay, I just want to be super clear. I don't know why you need to do this, Stephen, because if you're right, you can just engage with what I'm actually saying and not a new version of what I'm saying. I'm not waffling Stephen. Back and forth between effectiveness and morality. I've said from the very beginning that it is pluralistic, right? You can have principles having principles is effective because shared principles is part of how you collectivize. And
what do I think about it? I think it sucks. You know, we already talked about it, I think, before you came in here, but I mean, essentially, look, it's, you know, does everybody want to look at the file? Yeah. Do I want to look at the file? Yeah. Do you want to look at the file? Yeah. Well, is it important that everybody gets to look at the file? Yeah. But we're not. So either we're not because Trump's covering up, or we're not because it would fucking, you know, destroy a million things that we're trying to get done right now. Right. So if releasing the file would, you know, hinder any efforts in terms of Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, China, tariffs, the economy, fucking global relations, whatever. I don't know what's going on. You know, everybody seems to think it's a cover up. It could be. If it's a cover up, you know, that'd be the fucking worst thing that could possibly happen. If it's not, and they're just doing what they're doing now because they have to, then I can understand. Because if somebody asked me, would you rather look at the Epstein file or fucking have a ceasefire in Gaza or Ukraine, and Ukraine, I'd choose the ceasefires. Yeah. So that's basically it. That's my normie take.
Holding yourself to those principles or failing to do so matters to the group.
What are the principles, though?
Yeah, but
Epstein is a good
what are the
example.
principles, though? Are the principles,
Yeah, I saw that
are
itch.
the principles not being mean to people or not bullying people?
It said it was like a financial decision or something.
No.
That's crazy though. I mean, you're retiring like a major franchise. You know, late shows. Who thought like we're now in the era of canceling late shows?
Oh,
No,
that's
stop
not
talking
the
about kids
principles that I'm
jerking off.
asking for. That's not
What
what I've
principles
ever
are we
said.
asking for?
What the
What do you mean you're saying they can do all the other stuff they are doing or release the files? No, I'm saying we're not getting the files, right? So in my mind, unless there's another way, you know, there's only two reasons why that would happen. One is they're covering it up because maybe Trump's in the file or whatever. Or two, maybe there's three, right? Because they're also saying it doesn't exist or whatever, you know, whatever that is. So there's that, then there's the cover up, then it would be a fucking monkey wrench in global relations, right? Or at least it would right now. That's my fucking normie conspiracy brain take. You guys are much better at fucking knowing, you know, something that happened in 1964 that might fucking relate to this or whatever. But no, that's just my normie take.
Oh,
Stop talking
sorry.
about kids jerking off.
I have said it.
Kids
at this
in debt
point
is a good line.
so many times. I don't even understand how you're possibly
Then
still
just answer it again. You
characterizing.
could have answered it at the time you're going to say that. It's the principle not
I don't care. I don't care.
short-term.
I'm gonna grandstand at you too because you're being fucking bad faith, and I don't understand why you need to do this.
No,
if my
Kyla,
argument is so
we
bad,
really
you don't
don't
need to
understand what your argument
mischaracterize it. Shut the fuck up. You don't need to mischaracterize it as being mean is bad. Also, the argument Trump is mean, so being mean effective is fucking stupid, right?
Okay,
Because
Connor,
it's-
summarize Kyla's point, and let's see if Connor can summarize it. What
I
does Kyla
think
mean when she's
kindness
saying- when
is
we say-
effective. The
Oh
reason
my
I
God,
want you
okay.
to be kind is because I think it's good and I
what
think
is
it
our-
works.
So
And
we
what is our
can be
evidence?
kind, but we
What
can't
is
be
our
mean.
evidence?
But like,
Steven, if you build and maintain
What is the
relationships,
evidence of
that
kindness
you can
being an effective
leverage
political
at
The
the
strategy?
evidence is
it will be
2018,
more
2020,
effective.
2022.
You don't need to be kind. You need to be.
Love
you need
Trump's
to be
hate,
good-
guys,
You don't need to
2016.
be right, but you should be good faith to people who are good faith to you. You don't
Kind
need to
doesn't
be kind.
mean nice.
You don't need to
Sorry,
be kissing
whatever
people's
fucking
ass.
word you guys
Sure,
want to
yeah.
use. I didn't say don't be mean. When I'm saying kind, I'm mean to people all the fucking time. I'm also not saying don't be be perfect. I'm also failing my own standard regularly. So just to be clear, I'm not talking from a fucking pulpit. What I am
is
talking
kind,
about is
kind doesn't have anything to do with being mean. What is kind? What do we say when you say being kind?
kind. When I say kind, what I mean is like a more broader thing of understanding them as a person, trying to get into their worldview and engaging in good faith, actually engaging with what they're talking to. And at your best, which by the way, you, Stephen, at your best, is when
I'm
you
not an
steel
elected
man, shut the fuck up.
politician.
Shut the fuck up. When you steel man your opposition, you understand what they are saying and you
If it didn't exist, that would be one thing. But Trump's saying, I don't get it. Why the base cares about this? Yeah, I know. Yeah, meaning they're not even willing to look into it. To create the Epstein files if they don't exist. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what do you think? You tell me what you think. I have no clue.
Yes,
Give
and
the
if you want to
best
build a
version of your
YouTube
argument,
channel, you can
and
do
then
that.
you
We're talking
dismantle it.
politics right now. When did the Republicans ever do this? One example.
What? I'm sorry, what the fuck are we talking about? Do you not think that YouTube channels and YouTube debates have any
I'm
effect on
asking,
politics?
what do we think? I'm saying of all of the Republicans, what Republican channel emulates this idea that you're talking about the most?
I've already
Well, it's not
said that
Republican, but
Konstantin
it's
Kisin.
it is seen. It's the center right that, especially leading up to the election, was seen as the open-minded space.
Yes,
an area
Joe
where yes, you
Rogan
could have
were seen
reasonable
as open-minded.
conversations.
They would have
Yes,
anybody on
Oh,
theoretically.
they would have anybody on when he started hosting conservative after conservative after conspiracy theories. When he would
Yeah,
dodge
he
people.
sure
Didn't
got
we have-
sucked in
didn't
by
we have-
audience
didn't
capture.
we
I
literally
wonder
have a
why.
guy-
I
didn't
wonder
we-
why people like being conservative more than left. I wonder why the fuck that is.
True.
That's my whole issue.
Remember when the Flint Dibble guy went on and he was so mean and so aggressive and so horrible, and then Joe Rogan re-brought on the other Stephen Graham or whatever the fuck guy, or Graham Hancock or whatever, who roasted the fuck out of Flint when he literally is dying of cancer. That's the guy we need to appeal to. Holy shit!
Joe Rogan is not as neutral as he pretends to be.
And then his Spotify deal got canceled. He lost all his money. All the Republicans lost their elections.
Kyla, do you think it would be more effective to be edgy and authentic in front of Joe Rogan, or to be like, oh, Joe, you're so nice and we're not going to be mean to you and we want to accept you into our party? Like, what do you think appeals to you more? All the comedians that go on and
you don't need to be insincere.
Hold on, you're commenting.
If this is genuinely
commenting Kyla because she's obviously pro being edgy and being real.
But yeah, so she keeps saying that, and then she can't point to a thing, and then saying kindness is really important, except for when it's not.
About Soy Pill? I've pointed to multiple things. I've talked about his nuking of Tectone's relationship. I talked about the way that you talk to Tally. I have given you very specific examples. The reason you guys need to strawman me is because the reality is that I am not incorrect. If it was the case that the left was so cozy and it was so fun to hang out with, then maybe we would win against a fucking rapist. But we didn't.
I just have a housekeeping question.
It's not because of edgy jokes.
We're asking about examples for the Republicans being nice. When are the Republicans nice? When are they being nice?
You don't have an opinion on it, Conrad? Not the CIA? Not some people that wear tiny hats? Not the fucking Illuminati? You don't have any opinion on it? Come on, bro.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying any of this shit.
Well, on an interpersonal level, hold on, no. I'll answer Destiny's question. On an interpersonal level, Republicans have been, on balance, nicer to me than Democrats have.
Okay, well, you're not a Republican.
I know, because I'm not retarded, right? And I believe in actual principles and things like that. But unfortunately, not everyone is like Wick, and there are a lot of people who are much more retarded
doesn't
than Wick
change their
is.
principles because somebody
Let
was
him get
mean to
in.
them. Sorry.
Why are you
I
talking
have to
to
leave.
Natalie by
So
saying
I want to make. Can I make a kind of a closing statement
counterpoints. You
and then
gotta
dip
go.
out?
So we're gonna give your spiel and tell people where they can find you. I know this
Okay.
is run long, but it's good content.
It's okay. I gotta go take care of stuff. So, anyways, the line that you guys have asked for repeatedly is probably kids jerking off and dead kids. That's my line. I've repeated it probably 3 or 4 times. And then also, I forgot what the fuck else I was gonna say. Have fun ripping each other apart. I parasocially love you. Have a beautiful night.
Okay, go find him. I have a link to his politics channel in my YouTube description. Go click that link and give him a follow. He spent his time with me. Bye.
Bye, Connor. But yeah, so
The
Kyla,
only reason
as
that I can
disgusting as you
possibly
found my
conceive of-
behavior to Tali, she is back now talking to me and is open to a conversation. So clearly it's not so politically ineffective that it can at least continue a conversation. So what the fuck are
If
you
you're
talking about?
Soy Pill,
a
if
few
you're just
things.
going, hold on, let me respond. If you're just going to be disgustingly bad faith with me, not actually engage in my ideas and not talk to me, I'd prefer if you
Kyla,
weren't here.
I
Actually, if
promise
I'm being
I'm
quite
not
frank.
being bad faith. I genuinely don't understand what you're trying to say or
I have
propagate.
told you
Like, you're-
guys-
it does feel like you're jumping around a lot. I'm not trying to.
I'm
strawman
not.
it.
I'm
Literally,
not.
I don't know what
I'm
you're
not.
advocating for us to do.
You guys, first of all, Steven has done a really good job of strawmanning me as jumping around. I have not jumped around at all because I've said multiple times 2 things. Number 1, morals and ethics can be downstream of political efficacy. In fact, I think sticking to your principles and values is politically effective. Number 2, I think going scorched earth, like nuking relationships before you have any chance to build any warmth, is bad for political efficacy. I also think making jokes about dead kids immediately is optically always going to be an L. I have said this over and over and over and over again. And if you guys can't handle that, that's fine. But that's what I'm talking about.
No.
And now to
Okay,
Soy
let me
Pill,
try to
my
let me try to
criticisms
clarify
of
this.
you.
Can I
No,
ask-
I'm
no,
not.
because you
I
just
have
said 3
two-
things, and now you're going to move on for. We need to clarify this, okay? Like,
I don't need you to
promise I'm
respond to
trying
my criticisms of
I'm
Destiny.
not
Why the fuck would you
responding.
talk to your
I wanna
boyfriend? He can
understand
respond for
it.
himself.
Can I understand it, please?
Sure.
Okay. So you're saying that morals are downstream of policy, right? Or policy is downstream of morals, correct?
Effective policy can be downstream of principles.
Okay,
yeah.
can be right. But now it seems like you clearly don't
is.
have a hard line. I mean, well, you do. Dead kids are a hard line of meanness. You shouldn't go about dead kids. But in general, you don't have like some.
Well, they're not a hard line,
exact-
right? I already said that, like,
You
probably. 2
just
weeks
said
after
don't
when-
do it.
Jesus fucking Christ. I actually feel like I'm talking to MAGA people right now. I said when
Blue
he
MAGA.
said it quote tweeting people actively looking for the children within, like, I think 48 hours of the tragedy happening.
That's
the
what
reality
edgy-
is it was
wouldn't be
more
edgy if it was
offensive.
20 years later.
I don't care about it being edgy. I care about the reality that the public reception to it, including even on his own
That's what
base,
edgy
was
is.
overall
You can't dodge away
no.
from the word edgy. That's why it's
Can I
edgy.
just
because
ask
it
a
is
quick question?
recent
I
and
can
it's
make
I
jokes
do
about
need to
black
ask a
people,
quick
but I might
question.
not make it right after like a shooting on
Yeah.
black people.
I
right?
just
I
need
might
to
just like
know.
choose my
Hold on,
really
stop,
funny, though? What
stop,
if it's
everyone
really
stop,
funny?
everyone
It's
stop,
more
everyone
edgy,
stop,
and if
everyone
it's
stop.
really funny
Kyla, please.
and it hits well,
Please.
then you will get away
That's
with
why
it.
it's
Please.
a
Soy!
fuck rationalization.
Oh my God!
It's not
I will
post
mute you
hoc.
if I have to.
Just because
I just
things
have a.
are going to be relativistic, it doesn't make it fucking
Okay,
post hoc.
I have a
Otherwise,
question.
your moral system couldn't fucking exist, you fucking retard.
Okay, well,
Obviously,
great.
I'm
things
voting
are
Trump
going
now.
to be socially informed.
Okay.
If every single person, including on Steven's own side, is like, yeah, I don't love that. If consistently
Wait, don't say every
Republicans
single person on my
don't-
side, because that's absolutely not true. There are lots of
If
people
it-
on my side that also
Sure.
really like the super edgy.
a large
aggressive shit, so-
percentage. A large percentage. If most Republicans that I talk to that like Stephen and think he's smart cite that as a really hard no-go. I agree that it's soy and beta and loserish behavior on their behalf. However, I am willing to basically look past that because I would like to pull them to my side more than I care about holding their feet to the fire for being mad over a joke, if I'm being completely blunt and honest.
Okay.
Do you think-
Okay. Stop.
Wait, can I ask you the
Stop.
fifth question,
Nope. You're going to
please?
get muted because otherwise no one will stop and no one will actually let me ask my question. Dev, why
Also,
the
dead
fuck
jokes
are
are
you
always
here?
edgy.
Dev,
saying.
you have said nothing this whole time. Why the fuck are you here?
Well, you pulled me in. I don't know. I was talking. Tally had me talking to her privately. You just pulled me in.
Do you not want to be here? We're
Oh.
gonna let you go.
Oh no, I can still be here. That's fine. That's no problem.
No.
I mean, I have been watching this and taking notes. I have
Contribute
a few
is what I'm
comments.
telling you to do.
I have a few comments, but
Go
it's
ahead.
nothing related to what you guys have just said. It's a different thread of the conversation. But if you're okay with that,
Go ahead.
So, it seems like everyone here is talking about two different things because what Soy Pill has done to Tally is a different type of thing than what Destiny has done on Twitter. Because with Tally, it's a single person, and you have to approach a conversation with a single person very differently than putting out a public statement towards a larger audience. Which is why the edgy joke excuse works in one of these; it doesn't really work in the other one, basically. I'm not sure if leaning full into the optics conversation. I don't know if the optics stuff even hurts the Democrats, frankly, long term. It might, but like it is like you say, the right seems to suffer no real blowback when they do really edgy or even really disgusting stuff. So I'm not. I don't really buy the argument that this is hurting us. This is hurting the Democrats. But at the same time, on an individual level, I think it absolutely hurts long term, if not short term, absolutely long term. I mean, I was friends with Sargon until 2024, from 2015 to 2024, and he was not the right winger that everyone said he was in 2015. He became that guy, and he became that guy after leftists got him banned from Patreon. And it's like, well, you created the monster, basically. And I think that's something that you should probably reckon with.
The left's fault. Okay, Kyla. So do we
Yes,
have to
it
make
is.
a funny,
Yes.
funny calculation like before it happens of how well it will hit?
Wait, are you
And,
just
like,
not going to
and-
meet with Dev?
No, I just don't give a shit whether or not Sargon was forced into being a right winger, and he just summarized things that we've already said. But I have a genuine
You
question
don't want
that
to
I think
ask
might
one
move
of Sargon's
the
close
conversation.
friends about his hype.
I
his-
don't. I
okay.
don't. Can, let
Well,
me
well,
ask you
the
this.
conversation's not about Sargon. It's not about
High-quality
Sargon. It's
communication.
it's about if you treat people like Tally poorly, who they will be in 5 years.
They'll turn
That's
into
what
a
it's about.
fucking Nazi rhetoric.
If
and
you
a
could
super white
stop
supremacist
that, why
guy.
wouldn't you? If
Yeah,
you
a
could
lot of
stop
time
that
they
simply
do.
by exercising some self-discipline and self-control and not being a fucking retarded asshole to them, why wouldn't you?
Oh
so
shit!
you're
It's
not-
like the meme with the guys in the mine, and it's like the Democrats were just one nice comment away from finally hitting gold with Republican empathy. We're so close. Fuck.
No,
we
it's
just need
not
one more
Republican empathy.
restraint.
It's again.
It's a
we've said it
hold
from
on,
the
it's a
beginning,
simple
it's
concept.
moderate.
I'm sorry, but it's a simple concept. If you treat people well, they will respond positively. If you treat people
True.
poorly, they will run away from you, or in some
I agree.
cases, oppose you. When you treat people like shit, they're gonna fight you. I don't
So like when
understand
Trump
why
played
this is
games with
hard.
FEMA funds in 2019 and in 2016, even 2017, after that one hurricane with North Carolina, nobody gave a fuck. Or when he threatened to do it with California, they understood. And then
They
Biden came in and he
did
didn't play games
give
with
a
FEMA
fuck.
funds.
Why-
And then
why
Trump
are
came
we-
in and then he played games with FEMA funds again. It's
Why
like
are we
there's
even
definitely a-
assuming? Why are we assuming that the bases of these two groups are going to be galvanized by the same thing? I don't know why would we assume that Republican bases will be
Why,
galvanized. by the
because
same
we probably
thing
assume that
liberal-
all humans are galvanized by about the same shit always. It's typically we're all
Why
kind of
would we
more or less the
assume-
same.
Really? Between left and right? I don't know if we should just presume that. right?
What is
like
the
typically,
fundamentally different aspect of humanity between the left
yeah,
and the
sure,
right?
I'll give it to you. Yeah, typically when we do personality tests, we can like almost perfectly predict the political predilection that they're going to be towards, because typically if you're conservative, you're going to have things like low openness to experience and high conscientious.
So first of all, you
conscientiousness.
absolutely cannot perfectly predict. The highest predictability is what your parents' political parties are. Number one, okay, you can make slight predictions, sure, but even so, somebody who
Okay,
has
now you're softening it too much.
I'm not softening it at all. Pretty sure the most
Yes,
predictable
you are.
thing is the political party of your parents. I think the political heritability, I think, is the most important thing. But even that, I think, is like 60% or something. Regardless, though, the even if one person might score differently on their big five or whatever, it doesn't mean that you can't appeal to the people more or less the same way. You might do it like with a slightly different group, like an in-group versus an out-group. But I think more or less humans are all kind of the same shit in terms of like what makes us laugh and what's funny. And making fun of out-groups is a thing that most people enjoy doing.
Sure.
I don't know
okay,
about
do you
that.
think
I'm
that
not gonna agree with that.
Okay, do you think that shame tends to make people move towards you or away from you?
Probably depends on the type of shame. I can probably do either one. It depends on what you're shaming. It depends on how you're doing the shaming.
Sure. Okay, let's get into the nuance. What type of shaming is effective and when?
I imagine that it probably depends on who the shame comes from. So if it comes from like role models or if it comes to people.
Of. The slaughter begins then.
Yo, what's up? Thank you, Grumple. Appreciate it. Thank you for the raid. We're just going over the whole Mr. Bonnell II and his edgy jokes tribunal. And I'm actually getting off here in a minute because it's 5 in the morning. I gotta be up for work in a few hours. So you beat me to the raid. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm you know, these past Sigma mode activated. You went and did it. Yeah, but I'm getting off here in a little bit. I gotta be up for work in a few hours. But thank you, I appreciate it.
In your life you look up to, it's probably more effective. So if you've got a role model that's saying something like, oh, smoking is cool or smoking is bad, it's probably more likely to have an impact on you. Probably depends on the age that it hits you at. So shaming at an earlier age is probably something that would discourage somebody from a behavior more likely than shaming somebody at a later age. Probably depends on the other types of like coercive control that is around the shame. So if you're shamed in like a classroom environment where then a teacher and your social group can reinforce it, as opposed to like a TV commercial shaming you and then you can turn it off and it's a little bit more isolated. I don't know. Probably, my guess there's a ton of different ways that it can work or can't work. It depends on the thing.
Yeah. So one of the things that we know as well, that shame is very ineffective on things that are really hard to change or like deeply ingrained into us, such as, for example, I'm given this a lot, being fat doesn't work to shame you. Unfortunately, shaming fat people, if it did work, it would have worked. It doesn't make people want to change their lifestyle enough to get skinny because it's very lifestyle based.
Yeah, but I don't think being fat is a good marker here for who you vote for or your political beliefs.
I agree. In fact, I think that being who you vote for is often way more deeply ingrained into your identity than being fat. And so if it's not even effective,
Just to be clear, that is absolutely not true. That's not even remotely close to being true.
You don't think that being Republican isn't deeply ingrained into a lot of people's like strong political like identity?
Nope. I think that you could. I think it is compared to being fat. Do you think it would be easier to go from obese to ordinary BMI or to change from Republican to Democrat?
Hold on. I'm talking about how much it's closely tied to your identity, not how difficult it is for the behavior to change.
We're talking about how. What else would we be talking about? We're talking about the effectiveness of changing a behavior, and then we're saying, well, let's see what's more closely tied to a person's identity, or we just bring that up as an irrelevant reason. I know we're bringing this up for
tied to an identity. I don't think being fat is nearly as closely tied to people's identity as being Republican, right?
Okay, maybe not, but I mean, like shaming somebody out of a political belief would probably be a lot easier than shaming them out of being fat.
Why?
Because I don't think shame is an effective way to change somebody to being fat, because there's a whole bunch of other systems that are working against a person to make them fat than systems that work with people's political beliefs.
What systems would be working against somebody from shifting from R to L?
It super depends on the environment that they're in. If they, for instance, if it's like
the average environment,
not like core biological functions that are being preyed upon by hyper sweetened and fattened foods, like it's not the same.
I think like you could have like friend groups maybe that are keeping you in a certain political thing maybe, but I mean like there are whole groups that can change slowly over time. We saw it with the tech bros and the whole liberal thing. You'll never see that with like being fat.
Yeah, people will often drift in the direction that as you said, their parents voted, right? So like the family group around them is going to be super important for predicting who they tend to vote for, right?
Yeah.
So if you're asking them to shift from right to left, you're asking them to not just unearth one behavior, which is a vote, but potentially to unearth all of their social connections as well.
Yeah, it's hard.
Depends, but I mean, like, again, there are
Yeah.
whole groups sometimes that shift. Like, all the tech bros kind of shifted in this weird MAGA direction, and that didn't require any of them to abandon their friend groups.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to shift your identity, which is why I'm saying I don't know if I'm convinced that shame is going to be super effective.
Okay, yet the Republicans weaponize and utilize shame, and they have for the past
Those are
12 years, and they have
winnable.
all of
And
the
it's-
they have all of the levers of power right now. So I don't know what I'm supposed to make sense of that as. Are they doing this
So
to their detriment and they
people
could be even more effective?
So people are voting for Trump because he's shaming them now?
He seems to be shamed. It's not about you. You seem to think that it's like there's 100 people going into the ballot box and we have to fight over those 100 people, but it's not. There's 330 million people and like 40% of them don't vote ever. And it's a matter of like who can you get to go to the ballot box? Trump works on shaming and attacking other people. He'll shame his own fucking party if he has to. If there are people in his party, he's doing it right now with the Epstein shit, or he does it to Massey, or he does it to the Never Trumpers, and he gets them excised from the party. So yeah, it seems like Trump literally operates around like shame and fear,
Yeah.
and it's been
so,
really effective for him.
So sorry, you think that shame has been the thing that's been effective for Trump and not something else?
I think there are multiple things at play, but shame and
Is it in the top
divisiveness and
three?
everything. Seems
Well,
like it, yeah. I would guess it is, yeah.
Really?
Given that he seems to be the most shameful and divisive president in my lifetime,
And yet he's like
it's hard
rated
to
as like
imagine
one
that's-
of the least popular presidents.
Yeah, but least popular because of how divisive he is. Like, he might be the least popular
Yeah.
overall because the left doesn't like him, but the right love him. It's like 90% popularity.
Yeah, Republicans seem to like him a lot, like the MAGA people. However, there's a massive schism happening right now where people are incredibly.
There's no,
unhappy.
you keep saying massive schism, and that is yet to be determined. We don't know if that'll even be the case.
That's the question.
In
wild,
a second,
first of all,
after they go, I'm
to
going
not
to read
call
a
it a
couple
massive
more of the
schism
super
when
chats.
Trump himself is calling it a pretty major schism. You're right. We don't know
I
the
don't
effects
consider
it's
truth
possible.
or tweets massive schisms. When it comes to voting,
What's up,
we'll look for the
Minecraft?
massive
Not just,
Mexico, yeah.
It's not just tweets. Come on, it's people burning MAGA hats. It's people calling for Pam Bondi to be
resigned from
fired.
this?
It's
Okay,
Dan
has he retired? Has
Bongino.
anybody resigned? Bongino is no longer talking about being fired. He moved back. Now the conversation about whether we're firing Jerome Powell. So, and I don't think Bondi's going anywhere. And Bovey might leave
Probably
because
not.
he's trying to be nominated to be a fucking federal judge. So it seems
Sure,
like none of
but
that
it-
is happening.
I think Candace Owens even came out saying that she might have regretted her vote for Trump. Right?
Candace
So like,
Owens is
there's-
always a wild card. She's fucking insane. She's not like a reliable person on any side.
increasingly, Joe Rogan is talking very negatively of Trump as well, right? He's very upset about some of the deportations that have been happening, and he's very mad about the Epstein files. He's way
Okay,
less mad
and
about
that's
the
cool that
immigration.
he's finally moving that direction. But if one mean tweet or if one odd statement by Biden is enough to totally change somebody, and it's taken like 6 months of the most unhinged possible behavior from Donald Trump to finally get Joe Rogan to kind of start saying some mean things about him, maybe on his podcast, fuck that shit. What a waste of fucking time. Turn out your own base.
Okay,
So those people are completely worthless. They're not worth appealing to in any way, shape, and form. Just galvanize your own base.
I didn't say
our
they
base
were.
is
I
smaller
didn't say
than
they were
theirs.
worthless.
the time.
I'm just saying that
Our
if your
base is smaller than theirs and we'll lose
hypothesis
every
is that
time.
bullying people is a bad thing, it seems weird that the most bully candidate in like all of our lives' history is the one who's had like the most political success in terms of at least like winning, votes and shit. That seems to be kind of weird to me. I don't understand. Maybe he
Sure,
just
but
happens to be doing something else really good,
we've
and that's
had-
hurting him, but we can't see it.
Yeah, but we've had how many like historical unprecedented events that led up to him winning back the election? Because he didn't just win it consecutively, he lost it to Joe Biden, right? And then he won it again with major historical events that we've never seen before. In fact, every single incumbent, no, I shouldn't say every single because you're going to get me on that one. Most incumbents globally also lost their race, right?
Yeah.
So why are we assuming that it's because he's mean and divisive and that therefore it's effective for us to be divisive?
Because it doesn't seem to be hurting him at all, and it seems to be. Where's the evidence? Where would
He's
I
the
look to see
only
the evidence of it
president
hurting
to
him?
ever lose an incumbency until Joe Biden. Well, I guess he didn't
Well, no, he
technically
wasn't
lose
the
it.
only
He got
president
out
to
while he
ever
was
lose
still
it.
winning, actually. Yay,
What are
Joe
we- what are
Biden.
we
Hey,
supposed
Jimmy
to- what are
Carter,
we
one of the
looking at?
nicest presidents ever, actually lost his incumbency.
Yeah, what are we
Gotcha,
looking at for Trump to see if the bullying is not working? Well, like, what seems like it's not working? Like, how do we see this as evidence that it has been ineffective in the past?
Well, we can look at people running
so
away
he
from his
doesn't- he
policies
doesn't bully
almost
his-
across the
he doesn't
board.
bully the base, right? So he bullies
Correct.
like politicians and stuff like that. That is true, which is different from the type of vitriol that we see from the left, which is again just like punching at other vaguely liberal people who are not as pure as
Sure,
you.
everybody here,
and-
but
and
everybody
things
here.
of this
Well, I
nature.
hope even Swipe Hill thinks that that's
The right-
fucking
the right
stupid.
does that
That's
too,
dumb.
Also,
No, I
by
think
the
it's
way,
stupid,
and
no.
this is part of the shit that I get is like why you focus so much on the left, and it's because that's where I spend all of my time and have spent all of my time my entire life. So yes, the right is guilty of all of the same things that we're talking about.
Sure.
But it's like
that statement that
it's
you just
weird
said. Wait, can you explain this? I'm just curious, okay? Because that statement that you just said, nobody on the right would ever say that. That would ever say like, oh, the reason why I attack the right so much is because I'm on the right more. Nobody on the right would say that. Why are there so many people on the left like you that would say something like that? Like, oh, I attack the left all the time because that's where I spend all my time at. I'm not like attacking you. Sorry, that came off really aggressive. But I'm just curious, like, what is it that caused it to happen?
I have no idea. Well, I don't know. Who was it that was saying the other day
I
that
can answer it
I
if
think
you
it was
want.
Dev, right? The loyalty priority basically on the right. Is that
I
what
want
you're
to
gonna
hear.
say? I'm just
Yeah.
tired. Okay, sorry.
I want
That was
Dev, can you
basically what
explain
I
it?
said in last week's
Go ahead.
conversation, which is the same conversation as this one. Is that and Erudite, I know you know this because I know that you know height. The right tends to prioritize loyalty more as a value. The left tends to prioritize self-criticism more as a value. This is a personality difference, very broadly speaking, in the two sides, and that leads to basically right-wingers being more loyal even as things start to fuck up, while left-wingers they'll be more self-critical when things fuck up, and so that it leads to you have like more purity spiraling on the left, and you have more circling the wagons on the right. Basically, it's a difference in behavior of the two sides.
Here's something that I really want to understand because what
Can
I
ask
would
my
point.
question? I've been holding it in for like 15 minutes.
Taps awake.
Okay, quick. Can I ask
Ask
a question?
your question.
Kyla?
You've been holding it
So-
in. Release.
So this is okay. So this is about the whole idea of like these edgy jokes, especially when they don't land, are going to alienate a bunch of moderate voters, specifically people like the Joe Rogans or these like, you know, average, like you said, these kind of dullard people that do have these huge audiences. My question to you is, if these people, if you watch these shows, if you watch Joe Rogan, if you watch the Nelk Boys, they're making edgy jokes constantly. They're mocking dead kids. They're making 9/11 jokes. They're making Holocaust jokes. And if anything, it endears them when people are able to cross like over that line and be like, hey, look at me. I'm authentic. I'm not scared to say this, which is something that people were saying was alienating about the left, that they're too purity testing. So why is it that somehow like there should be any line of edginess that is going to scare away these people who live and thrive in it? It just doesn't make any sense.
Because in general, even the edgiest edge boys tend not to love jokes at the expense of kids, especially when the kids are like actively still missing and might be dead. Like people just tend not to like that. I'm not saying that that's like some morally good thing or something that's like defensible in a rational way. This is just like how people feel, and you can base that on how people react.
Real quick, this is why we're really confused, because you keep saying it's not about jokes, but then you keep like centering it on like that particular type of joke. I think the broader
I've talked
question
way
that Soy
more
Pill
about
was
your scorched earth stuff than I have about the joke.
no, but I don't think Soy Pill's thing was what about this one joke. It was like, why can everybody on the right make all of these unholy comments constantly and it's seen as an endearing quality, but then on the left, like you keep bringing up this one thing, but it's anything. You can't joke about anything about the right on the left.
Their
Finds
jokes
that endearing?
Well, their
Who finds
audience
what?
does. Their own audience, their target
their
audience.
base.
Issues
Andrew
have
Schultz
people
audience,
not-
Joe Rogan audience, Nelk Boys audience.
I feel like
I have
I'm
the
pretty
answer.
sure I've seen
I have the
major
answer.
Republicans make like rape jokes about
I have the
about the
answer.
fucking
Yes,
autistic
yes.
Swedish girl who's that
Insane.
one Greta Thunberg or whatever about like fucking her when she turns 18 or
Yes.
whatever. Like, so I don't
I
understand
agree.
where
I
all of the
agree.
head rigging
I
comes from.
agree. I agree. What I'm saying is that their jokes are funnier than they are offensive to their target audience. If your target audience is going to be moderates don't really like dead kid
No,
jokes.
those people
Just being
make the
straight.
jokes. Joe Rogan's make the jokes. Andrew Schultz they're making Holocaust jokes, dead baby jokes, like all
And
the
everyone
fucking time.
still
These
found it
comedians.
distasteful within 2 days. I don't know what to tell you. People aren't super rational.
Okay.
I'm not saying
No.
don't make edgy
Okay.
jokes. I'm
Okay.
saying-
No, it's
I'm saying-
working for them.
Hold on. It's
All right, I'm gonna send you guys over to Gustix. Thank you, Grumple, for the raid. Thank you, Conrad, Onion, Grand Designs, Maida, and whoever else is out there. I appreciate it. I'll probably be on later tonight. It's the weekend, so I'm gonna be working, but I'm trying to carve out some time when I'm not working so I can react and game a little bit. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Response